It is apparently Soundscape Day from Pretzel. Here was me expecting something with a beat. And yet, it's kind of chill. We like that around here. Welcome in, folks. Welcome to your Thursday Minecraft live stream. My name is Pixelriffs. I have not tweeted out or mentioned on my YouTube community post that I'm live, so give me a second while I do that. In the meantime, hello! Hope you're all having a wonderful week so far. Give me 2 seconds to just type out a quick tweet. Live on Twitch with Survival Guide, working on auto-sorted storage for tomorrow's episode. Just copy that in both places, I think. And in the meantime, a hype train is going. Thank you, Nebraska and Jeronif, for the resubs. Thank you, the Tim Reaper, for 11 months of Prime as well. Thank you very much. Hope you're all having a fantastic day. What's everyone up to this fine Thursday? Doing behind-the-scenes work in the Survival Guide world. I always try and add a little bit more to the YouTube posts. And let's throw in a screenshot of something completely unrelated. I need something with chests in it, ideally. Yeah, whatever. I'll just throw in a screenshot of the bee farm again. Actually, no, I don't really have any great screenshots of the finished build. Fine. That'll do. Perfect. Okay. Alright, sorry about that. I'm here now. Blondie, thank you for 24 months. A double nerd, thank you for the 2 years. And T-Brofire with the 100 bits says Hype Train. Hype Train indeed. Thank you very much for getting that one kicked off, folks. If you're interested in getting yourself some exclusive Twitch emotes, feel free to subscribe, cheers some bits, any of that stuff. Gift some subs if you're feeling generous, resub if you got one handy. Let's get right to it. We got a bit of work to do in Survival Guide World today. This is all going to be behind the scenes stuff for tomorrow. I am testing out some stuff with these bees. Somebody suggested maybe blocking out the corners there where there were honey blocks, but I think they are all just trying to get to azalea leaves, unfortunately. I could even swap out the moss underneath here for some azalea leaves and see if that works better, but we'll see. It's not really working super well for me right now. Anyway, we have enough honey that I can start doing some cool stuff if I need to. Definitely expected this after you need to expand your storage. Yeah, it's just getting to the point where the basement is... yeah, it's not enough. So up here on the hillside, this is spoilers for tomorrow's episode, so apologies if anybody's on tenterhooks. But we have up here... I always build my storage room like a little bit further away from my main base. Kind of encourages me to expand into different areas. I did this with the storage build like across the river from my my starter house. So we got one of these going right now. It's just going to be 3 rows of chests with barrels over the top, so we can store like this is going to be oak wood in bulk, and that's going to be like bits and pieces of oak wood like products, you know. And 16 modules on each side, probably either above or below, or maybe even both. We'll have all of the stuff that doesn't fit into the automatic system. Brings back memories, I know, right? It's looking kind of similar to the storage room from Season 1, but I did like that storage room a lot. I started a lot of my episodes there. I just put a bed there and was like, okay, so we're going to start in the storage room because it has everything we need for today's project, and so on and so forth. But up here, we can kind of see over some of the stuff that I've already been building, so I kind of like that. All you need is a bed in the middle and a wandering trader snooping around. The wandering trader was getting in my face while I was trying to explain the storage circuits. So that was quite funny. But that's going to be in tomorrow's episode anyway. What I'm doing right now is just setting up all of the circuitry and stuff here and organizing all of the filters. So we're going to have a relatively relaxed stream here while I just kind of carve out this area. We'll probably turn this into a larger build eventually. The floor looks so good, thanks. I like gradients in this game a lot, and starting with birch because there's so much of it around meant that it naturally felt like, yeah, we can go to oak wood, and I just left the oak wood logs in there instead of stripping them again. So it kind of made sense. Big staircase above the storage room, it'll be fine if you live in it. My starter house, though. It is a starter house after all. You've got to move out eventually, but I don't think I'm going to live here. I think eventually I will end up figuring out a proper base location, but you've got to have storage at spawn in a single-player world. It just makes sense. Just where you've got all your stuff initially. And now there's going to be all kinds of, like, single dirt blocks and grass blocks and stuff in here, which is going to be hilarious. Most of these are fine, actually. Yeah, there's just a couple here and there. Is this going to be tomorrow's episode? Sure is. Sure is. So we got a lot of work to do. But I've been working on this all morning. Give or take. How do I prepare my English breakfast tea? Sugar, honey, or plain? Just milk. No sweetener. You're new? What is this? This is my storage build. This is what's going to be in tomorrow's episode of my YouTube series, The Minecraft Survival Guide, if you're new, if you've not heard what I do before. So we're just setting up some basic Impulse SV item sorting circuits. We're going to have a ring of hoppers around the outside of here. This side is going to be like... The way I'm thinking about this is like surface blocks, kind of like the more organic stuff. So all 8 types of woods, including the nether woods, because it makes sense to put them with the rest of the other wood. And then grass, moss, dirt, coarse dirt, sand and gravel, because they appear in like surface areas of biomes, even though you're probably going to get most gravel from underground. And then podzol and mycelium, which we don't have any of yet. So maybe I look for a mushroom island next week. We'll see. And then the opposite side is going to be all of the stone types and all of the more kind of, what do you call it, like minerals, I guess. So we'll have cobblestone, stone, maybe stone brick, but you don't find a lot of that naturally. I tend to just grab some stone and craft it, but I'll end up making a lot of it eventually. And then like deep slate, probably just regular deep slate, and then we'll put like the cobbled deep slate rather, and then we'll put the regular deep slate like up in the chest above, because we want cobbled deep slate for crafting. And then stuff like tuff, andesite, granite, diorite, maybe geode blocks, other minerals, you know, that kind of stuff. We'll figure it out. Yeah, so like 32 modules either side, basically 64 modules. Not even 32, sorry, 16 modules, so 32 total. And, you know, that'll last us for potentially the entire season if it needs to. It's not like massive bulk storage for stuff like sand and gravel and cobblestone and the stuff you'll get loads of, but... Yes, Ender Dragon, this is a step-by-step tutorial for auto-sorted storage. I go over the individual circuits and why you need to have them set up a certain way if they're placed side by side. We go over a couple of different designs, one that's slightly cheaper than these but can't really be tiled. And then we're putting this together off camera, and then back at the end of the episode I'm going to explain like how everything is sorted, how all of the items end up in these hoppers and so forth. The classic storage room, yes. And we can do some more advanced, more interesting stuff later. We'll do things that are sorted by category instead of by just one item, that kind of thing. But, like, ultimately it's just going to come down to having stuff set up in individual chests for, like, bulk storage of the stuff we're likely to get most frequently. LBV, thank you so much for the 12 months, the full year of support. Everyone spam the word nerd in the chat. I'm so disappointed that chants are going away at some point. But we can use them while we can. Thank you so much for the 12 months, the full year of support. Enjoy your nerd sub badge. Welcome to the Nerd Herd. Court, thank you so much for the 100 bits. And Jeronif with 100 bits. Arwin with a brand new Prime sub earlier as well. Thank you so much, folks, for your support there. Let's throw some of this in these chests for the minute. And we need a bunch more comparators, so I'll probably just craft them quickly now. That should be enough for what we need. We'll need some more repeaters as well. But I'll need some more redstone torches for those. Oh, let's make a few more planks. There we go. And we can just craft those real quick here. Yeah, we'll need like... six more, I guess. I need more stone, that's what I need. There we go. It's enough for 6 repeaters. We'll make one more just in case. And, alright, those can go back in there. We'll need more redstone torches anyway, actually, for the hoppers to be locked, so... one more. Go through so many sticks making these. It's just sticks. That's all these circuits are. Sticks and a bit of redstone. Is this coming out tomorrow? Yes, that's the plan. Well, that is the plan. I figured we've had a bit of a varied week. We started with the Bastion raid and Ancient Debris, and that was very exciting. And the episodes in between have been a little bit more specialized. Like today was cactus farming and all of the different colors of terracotta and concrete and everything, which I think is getting views based solely on the fact that the thumbnail is kind of colorful, because I didn't expect it to be a very, like, in-demand episode for people. But some people haven't heard about, like, glazed terracotta and whatnot, so it kind of makes sense to cover some of that eventually. Like, I did an episode that was just about different colors of dyes in the previous season, so there are going to be some things where I'm like, I should probably introduce a family of blocks before we get too deep into the series and people are like, what's that? So I figure I might as well, you know? And, yeah, no, people seem to be liking today's episode, which is nice. We got loads of dark oak that I'm using for my circuitry here. We expect an automatic chicken farm. We'll make one eventually. I don't rely on chicken as food all that often, so I tend to just make one when it feels like it's, you know, a necessary project, really. I don't quite know what the meta is for chicken farms right now. Will I decorate the outside? Yeah, this isn't going to be just, like, open, like, arena full of chests, you know? It's not going to be like a chest amphitheater. We are going to have a building around the outside of this. I don't know quite what yet, but I will figure that out afterwards. The function comes before the form in this case. Is this storage room designed based on last season's? It's not necessarily like... There's only so many ways you can do basic storage filters in a large area like this. I've done the floor kind of similar, but that's mostly because I just have a lot of wood available to me right now. I'm not, like, copying last season's style of build or anything. Like, with the stuff that I built around here, it's a little bit more more interesting than what I built last season, I think. I think the neighbor cat is outside. I can hear something going, ow. Why do I have netherite boots instead of chest plate? Because the boots are more important to me. They've got feather falling and stuff on them. So we need to cut out one more block here. Hello? Are there any blocks that I think would be very challenging to build with? There's a few that I tend to not avoid necessarily, but I don't tend to like leap to in terms of stuff that I could build with. Like, I always find regular birch logs like these. I find them hard to put into builds because they're just very obviously birch logs. Like, it's difficult to disguise them as anything else. I would have said granite back in the day, but I find granite a little bit easier to work with now, and I did some cool stuff with paths on Empire's SMP, so I feel like that I've broken the curse of granite for me. So we just need regular repeaters, make sure there's no delay, and we'll have to have one more row of dark oak planks behind these. What is the best food to eat in game? Depends what you need. If you need saturation, so if you don't want to eat food as frequently, the best stackable food source for saturation is golden carrots, which is why I'm eating those. But if you're taking damage a lot and you find your hunger bar getting down below 4 shanks, then steak or pork chops are usually the best. And they have decent saturation as well, but generally speaking, it's better off to have golden carrots, in my opinion. It's kind of a whichever you prefer, though, honestly. There's no big deal differences. It just becomes what's most convenient, and you can farm golden carrots very easily from farmers. Once you trade it with a farmer, you can buy 3 golden carrots per emerald. It's very, very cheap. Where are we? I need dark oak wood is what I need. Do I have some in here already? I do. Good. I need to save enough that I can set up the filters, like actually put dark oak logs in here, so I'm trying not to spend too much of it, but we can always farm some more. It could be a chopping Thursday. And it may need to be, actually, because I need to have enough to cover over this as well. Although we might make it with 32 blocks of dark oak planks. That should be all set up, though, so now we need a lot of redstone dust. Do I have an available remedy for auto-sorting non-stackable items? Not every non-stackable item. There are a couple of ways of sorting things like armor, for example. Check out Doc M's video from Hermitcraft. It was only a few episodes in, but it was when he was working with the farm that converts zombies to drown so they could farm copper from their death chunk, whatever it was he called it. Because he has a really neat system in that, which I believe was made by the Psycraft guys, where because dispensers can place armor stands now, you can place an armor stand, dispense the armor onto it, and then break that and it goes somewhere else. Janie! Hello! Janie with the 5 months and the 40 bucks. What? Janie, I hope you're well. Congrats on the Xbox gig, by the way. That's incredible news. If anybody doesn't know Janie Laney, shout out. Very, very awesome Minecraft player. Hello, governor. How you doing, Janie? I raise a cup of tea in your general direction. Yeah, Janie is wonderful, wonderful person to check out. And, yeah, it's going to be taking over the Xbox channel along with our good friend Music Man 1017 for Black History Month. It's going to be awesome. Looking forward to seeing you on the big screen. Death Chrysler, thank you so much for the Prime sub. We had Mecky Moose and BFSB earlier as well. Thank you very much for the resubs. Doc M is so great. His redstone makes my head hurt, though. I'm always always so lost trying to figure out how it all works. It's a dark art, redstone, but yeah, Doc is a master of it. He has a lot of help as well. Like, he's very keen to acknowledge that the goat is a hive mind, is his saying. Like, it's very very much a group effort on the part of the tech community. Oh, you've been exploring Classy Phantom with 100 bits. Thank you. Exploring Pixandria in the world download. Yes, if you're interested in checking out the Empire's SMP world download, find FWhip's second channel, and it's all there. Sorry, FWhip's second channel. Now that I'm not on a server with him, I don't have to be careful about how to pronounce his name. Yeah, FWhip's second channel has the Empire's World download. I tweeted a link to it out the other day, but some of you aren't on Twitter. Yeah, if you're interested in checking out what we built on Empires, it's all like pre-destruction for the other Empires, so you'll be able to look around, you know, the Grimlands and everything else. And yeah, hopefully folks enjoy that. Feel free to, you know, continue building Pixandria if you would like to. FWhip 2, yeah, that's his second channel. Makes sense. Just be careful at Mythland. The sheep are too powerful. They might be. They might be. We're all caught up in terms of alerts and stuff. Love the series' first stream. Welcome in. Welcome in. Today we're working on some stuff for tomorrow's episode. So spoilers. This is a set of auto-sorted storage modules that are going to be our storage system for probably a good while. But I was outgrowing the basement pretty quickly, so I decided to do an episode about auto-sorters and step things up a little bit. Sausage tweeted a command to remove all the blood sheep. Yeah, the blood sheep are a little chaotic. But, you know, wouldn't have it any other way with Mythical Sausage, really. Best biome to set up your first base, honestly, just plains or something, somewhere that you can get a decent amount of resources from nearby, but there's abundant wildlife. Like, the main thing when you set up your first base is just, like, get a decent source of food, make sure there's lots of resources around, go caving. Like, you ideally don't want that to be, like, a desert or a badlands or something, but, you know, Minecraft is the way it is because we can just set stuff up more or less anywhere. So you're going to be fine wherever you end up. It's just going to be a matter of finding the right resources. You need to learn more about auto sorters. Tomorrow's episode is for you, Janie. It's relatively straightforward. I think there's a difference between knowing how to do something and understanding why it does something, and I'm aiming to provide a little bit of both in these episodes, trying to make it more accessible, but ultimately you can just mindlessly follow whatever the stuff is I do in the episode, and you'll piece it together. But these are probably, like, if you're not into redstone, if you're the kind of person who you avoid redstone like the plague because you don't understand it, these are probably one of the circuits that you at least need to have down as, like, you know, a baseline. I don't do redstone, but I can at least make a storage item filter, because it's so helpful when it comes to organizing any kind of, like, resources that you have in your world long term. It's just, it really, really makes it better. If you're a builder, having an organized storage room is just, like, very, very important. At least to me. That's how I see it. Do I have mending on my axe and shovel already? I do, yes. Mending is on basically everything now, except for, I think, some of the, like, the Silk Touch hoe that I enchanted a while back. Not Brock, thank you for the 2 months. Appreciate all of your work to create an entertaining series for us. Well, thank you very much. I try my hardest. It has been known. Alright, we have Netherrack in here, which is already renamed, so we can throw this in the topmost hoppers, and this is going to be our test of whether I've built all of the circuits correctly or if there's something going on here. But they should all be fine. This is the tedious part. A Grian type of storage system user? I mean, Grian knows his stuff. I feel like a lot of the time it's sort of more in character for people to do something chaotic, but I feel like Good Times with Scar is obviously the prime example of the chest monster. If the term wasn't invented by him, then he has at least popularized it. Alright, that's all of the filter junk in place. So we should be able to link all of these via a hopper ring. Have designated chests for certain things. It normally takes about an hour to sort everything. Yes. Yeah, like it's depends how much stuff you put into it, obviously, but it's not necessarily a fast process. So glad Scar is doing better. I've been keeping track of, like, the updates that his family have posted, and yeah, I'm rooting for him. He's a fighter. All the redstone I have, I need to make use of it. That's the thing. Like, if you're a builder, you're just, like, giving away redstone to server mates and stuff most of the time. But I can't get enough of it now. It's weird, the transformation. Like, I never used to be a technical person, but just in doing Survival Guide Season 1, I was like, oh, okay, I'm starting to see the appeal. What do you mean all of this stuff can be sorted for me? Do I like green tea? I drink green tea occasionally. Not as often as I would like to, but green tea is one of those things where the average UK kettle isn't really set up for it, because you're not supposed to brew green tea with, like, boiling water. Like, normally the water boils in the kettle and then we just pour that over black tea, and we're probably scalding the leaves of black tea even, but, like, yeah, I think green tea is supposed to be, like, 80 degrees Celsius instead of 100. So we've got all of that can go in now. We need to have... Cobbled Deep Slate is definitely a whole category unto itself. I'm debating whether Mossy Cobblestone counts, or if I just put that in with Cobblestone and then have it in, like, the chest above. Obsidian would be a good one, actually, because we'll get a lot of that later. I'm just thinking of the end pillars again, and probably end up taking those down at some point. But Cobblestone, we'll do stone bricks as well. And then, of course, granite, diorite, andesite, tough, geode blocks, probably. But then we've got things from the nether as well. We've got stuff like blackstone and basalt. Yeah, those will have to go up there. And netherrack as well, too. That's all stuff we're going to get in bulk just by digging through, like, a basalt delta at some stage. The UK makes tea seem like an art form. I mean, like many art forms, we stole it from other people. Always want to acknowledge our tea origins. The items have to be a certain amount, right, in the hopper? Yes. So the idea behind these storage filters is that if you want to tile them side by side, you can have no more than 68 items. Sorry, folks, 68 items in here at a time. Because if you put any more items than that in there, then the comparator outputs a large enough signal to activate the circuit next door, which can basically turn on... It turns off this redstone torch, and the filter next door starts to drain items. And if that happens, then eventually, like, the filter on this hopper would completely break. And you'd end up with a bunch of the wrong item going into that chest, and then the rest of your items wouldn't be filtered. That Ginger Kitty coming in with the raid. Thank you so much for the Party of 28 raid. Welcome in, folks. Ginger Raids, bringing you the spice of life. We love to hear it. We are no strangers to Ginger here, so shout out to Ginger the Lily, who is one of our mods here in the chat. Thank you so much for the raid, bringing your community over. How was your stream? What were you up to today? Tell me everything. Your Asian friends hate British tea culture, if you can even call it that. Exactly, yeah. Like, we've appropriated a lot of stuff. Some of it by force, and yeah, that should always be acknowledged. Have I thought about making a channel point reward that is hydrating? Everybody else has one. It's one of the default things that Twitch sets up for you, and I dislike it intensely because it basically means that people demand that you drink water at the time, and I'm like, I drink water and tea basically the entire time I'm streaming anyway. It's what helps keep my voice, like, sounding okay, and yeah, just everybody demanding that you take a sip of water or whatever and being like, streamer, I redeemed hydrate. I'm just like, I can't deal with that. My chat moves too fast for that to be a thing. I don't begrudge anybody else doing it, but it's not my cup of tea, as it were. Anyway, let's throw some stone brick underneath here. I want to have 2 pieces of each material, so it kind of like overlaps the underside of this chest, and then back here, you can just about tell from the tiny pixels of texture coming through there. That's actually a redstone lamp, and I've got a bunch of those in my inventory. We're going to have them all along here just to provide a bit of ambient light. And the cool thing is, redstone lamps, even as far back as this, is going to light this room perfectly for mob spawning, because mobs only spawn in complete darkness now. So we're going to probably follow that one up with... Oh, it's difficult now. I feel like maybe andesite, diorite, and granite go here, because then it blends in from the grey blocks. So we put diorite there. We put granite here. Hydrate is a block term for a streamer I mod for. I know. I feel like it's also one of those weird things where the term hydration gets thrown around a whole lot now, and I don't know, it just something about it, the overuse of it kind of bugs me. I'm weird. Everyone's just trying to look after me, and I'm just finding the most cynical way of looking at it, I know, but... So yeah, decorative stone types, because this is all cave layer stuff, right? It's all, you know, the cobblestone stone and the other decorative stone types are the ones we're going to dig out of, you know, 64 through 0, or obviously higher if you're in a different biome, but then this is deep slate layer stuff, right? If your eyeballs aren't floating, you're not hydrated enough. What are you, a doctor? I wonder what we can do with the rest of these as well, because we've got... Is that 8 now? That's 8 types of material now. As a college kid, the word hydrate is synonymous with drinking. Ellie Swan, thank you for the 8 months. And Elcorn with the 47 as well. Sorry, I missed that earlier. Working from home with an ice snowstorm shutting down North Texas. Cheers, loving Survival Guide 2. Keep making the great content. Hope you and Kay are doing well. We're doing great, thank you. Yeah, not doing too badly. I guess... Yeah, we'll put basalt in here because... Or maybe... I think it looks better that way around and then blackstone, even though blackstone is more or less the cobblestone of the nether, right? And then we'll put netherrack next to that. We could even do stuff like soul sand, because eventually we'll get a lot of soul sand, but... Have I played any FPS games? The last one I really enjoyed was Destiny 1. I haven't really played a great deal of them since then. This is normal deep slate. Normal deep slate... Oh, wait, no, hang on. Sorry. Deep slate, the block that you would silk touch, is probably going to go in a separate... Like, I'm going to put it above this in a barrel, like a lot of these, because I don't plan on keeping a lot of regular deep slate. Cobbled deep slate is the one that you need all the crafting recipes for, and when I go caving, I try and use a pickaxe that doesn't have silk touch now, because fortune is better for ores, and you don't get regular deep slate. Have I met LD Shadow Lady? I know Lizzie from playing on Empires. I've not met her in person. What else? What else? What else? Yeah, I guess maybe Soul Sand or Soul Soil, because we will end up getting a lot of that when we do anything in a Soul Sand Valley. Deep slate bricks or tiles, I would probably pick up cobbled deep slate and just craft as many as I needed for whatever build, so I wouldn't fill up more than a single chest of them, which can just go above this in a barrel. Same with smooth basalt and polished basalt. Again, like, maybe we can fit in geode blocks here. Glass, that's not a bad call, actually. I think glass would be a very, very good idea. Dirt or grass, the variants, they're over here. They're on the other side. This is like surface blocks from the overworld and a bit of the nether, and then this is minerals, including netherrack. And yeah, like, geode blocks, so calcite, amethyst. I think amethyst deserves a chest of its own. But then smooth basalt would probably just be in with this, so I don't know. Then again, looking at it this way, if we end up clearing out a bunch of geodes, we're going to have a lot of smooth basalt, and we can't craft it from smooth basalt into anything else, yeah? So, like, you can't put smooth basalt in a crafting table and come out with slabs and stairs and whatnot. It's going to be its own solid block. We can't turn it back into basalt classic. So, yeah, I think that makes sense. I think that makes sense. And we'll store precious materials and ores and stuff in their own separate thing, because I'm not going to be getting multiple double chests of iron ore. Maybe the raw blocks. But I think even those we might keep in their own separate chests. What if you add a chest for stuff crafted from bulk materials? That's the idea is there are going to be barrels over the top of each of those storage modules. You can sort of see it from down here. And the barrels will have the stuff that you've crafted in. Calcite now appears on top of mountains. Yes, it does. So technically, yeah, I can see us using smooth basalt, calcite, and amethyst blocks. And we could even store amethyst shards in the barrel for the amethyst blocks. So let's do that. Let's do it that way. What do I think of frog lights? I like them. I think they're a neat little addition to the game. The game always needs more light source blocks because there's a variety of settings for them, and we always need them for lighting up builds anyway. So more variety there is always useful. I think they're a neat way of having something that looks as clean as a sea lantern, but with a slightly different, you know, take on the color of sea lanterns, which can look kind of cold. Terracotta, wool. I think terracotta is probably another one of these. Wool is just going to be stored in the sheep farm. But terracotta is, yeah, most likely another one of these. I feel like clay and terracotta might be the last two of these. Because we're going to be getting a fair amount of clay from, like, you know, lush caves and whatnot. So if we do something like this, need another smooth basalt for there. But then clay and terracotta. See, brick is one of those ones that we're going to acquire a lot of it when we need to work with it, but I don't have... There's not really a place you can go out and harvest a great deal of bricks, you know? Like, if I need a lot of brick blocks, I go to a stonemason or something. Why do I choose to build my auto storage so far from the house? So that I can expand this area, so that the area feels like it has more going on than just a central location here, right? Like, I don't want to just build everything in a tightly packed space. This is a huge biome. I want to expand into it. Love the bling sound from amethyst blocks. They're very good, aren't they? I'm going to put a few of them in the chest here for now, so that we can use them to set up the storage filter later. But I love having all of these blocks in one place and just looking at the colors side by side and looking at the variety there is. Looking at all 16 of the grey blocks. We'll throw all of those in there for now. What's my favorite building block? I think lately it's moss or mossy cobblestone. I really like it. It's got a lot of character to it, a lot of color. Added a bubble elevator that brings all of his items to his storage area without having to go up while mining. Nice, yeah, if he's got like a beacon mine underneath his storage room or something. We might do that eventually. But in this case, I'm more interested in just getting storage set up for now, and we'll make multiple storage rooms as we progress through the series. It's not going to be a huge problem. Yes, Kircher, this is the next video, yeah. So one more smooth basalt block just for... Actually, two more for the... for actually having one in the filter. And then... Where am I looking? Clay. Terracotta and clay. And glass was something somebody suggested earlier, but I think what we're going to do is we're going to store glass itself and like sand and sandstone and some of that stuff up on a second floor or a basement level or something, like something that's going to expand into more manually sorted storage, because glass you usually want to convert into some other form of glass, right? If you've got glass for like projects like this for windows and things like that, you're either crafting glass panes with it or you can just grab a couple of blocks from wherever. But then when you want all of the different colored glass, you want the glass to be next to each other. So I want to have a chest that's got a bunch of clear glass in it, but then it's near all of the stained glass. And the stained glass is not going to appear in this auto sorter. Sunburning, thank you for the $10. Great content. Thanks for the entertainment. The survival guide is perfect and stands out against all the mega base projects on day 2 hardcore worlds. I mean, right. Hoping I'll return to Empires in some fashion, even if it's lower profile or cameos. We'll see. I'm still not certain about Empires for the future, but yeah, looking forward to seeing where it goes for everybody, even if I can only be partially or, you know, peripherally involved. So yeah, clay blocks, because you can get clay balls back out of those, so those aren't too bad to have in large quantities. I love looking at this chest, by the way. Just how much colourful stuff is in the game, it's so good. I could make a recap of Empires if I don't join. The problem is I don't have enough hours in the day to do any of the stuff people want me to do. Like, I'm also not just the recap guy. Like, I make the Hermitcraft recap because a friend of mine asked me if I wanted to do it, and I went, yeah, sure, but, like, I don't make, like, a business out of recapping things. More than just a recap guy. The amount of time that takes out of your week once you're doing it regularly as well is, kind of mind-blowing. Like, it is definitely faster for me to make my own Empires videos, which is a long and complicated process, than it is for me to watch all 11 of the other people who are on that server. And presumably, there might be more people joining. We don't know. I need a little bit more birch for the floor over here. So no Hermitcraft recap. That's what we ended up doing on the live stream that Zloy did on YouTube recently. I was only there for the first episode, but that took an hour, so. Love identifying the stored blocks using the floor blocks. Yeah, the most important thing to me is reducing the amount of like signs and item frames and stuff that makes it difficult to right-click on chests. I just thought that made a lot more sense. It means you cut down on the amount of entities, and in an area that's always going to be laggy with redstone dust and hoppers everywhere, it just makes a decent amount of sense. Is it me or is it always raining in 118? See, they removed the... I don't know if it was a bug or whatever, but the behavior whereby sleeping always reset the weather cycle in 118. So if you sleep constantly, it still rains, which is good for some people because, you know, you never really saw rain before. But you kind of realize that that wasn't such a bad thing. So each of these, like I said, is going to have a barrel above it for either overstock in the case of stuff that you can't really craft much out of, or in the case of like clay, we're going to have clay balls, bricks, that kind of stuff up here. Maybe flower pots even. And, you know, I don't think netherrack is going to have nether bricks above it because we'll have a whole separate section for nether bricks somewhere. But the cool thing about this is it's expandable as well. So we might leave a little bit more room down the end here, and if we want to add a couple more filters eventually for other materials, then we can, right? Sleeping now only resets the weather cycle if it's not already clear. Yes, so if it is raining and you sleep in a bed, then you're fine. But if it's not nighttime yet and the rain doesn't worsen into a thunderstorm, then you find yourself with rain throughout the entire day. At least the longest it can last is 10 minutes. So that's not terrible, I guess. We'll need a couple more of those. Perfect. And I think what we'll end up doing is even putting some kind of like maybe stairs or something over the top of this, so you don't see this back row of chests, you just see the frontmost one. Will I make a modded series like on RLcraft? No, I don't plan on playing modded at all, really. Not really a modded player in general. But if you want an RLcraft series in particular, Stingin, who streams here on Twitch, also has a YouTube channel, is basically the RLcraft guru at this point. He's played so much of it. He's played it in hardcore. He's kind of a beast at that particular mod pack. So if you go check the dude out, he's got an RLcraft survival guide series. I don't know how similar it is to stuff like this, but he's at least playing the game and showing you how to survive. If you're interested in that, check him out. Will this be modifiable to have a shulker dispenser thing? I think eventually we'll probably just build something else. We'll build like a different storage room that might have shulker compatibility, but this one I'm not planning ahead for that because, like, I don't know what we're going to end up building into this one. Like, I might not leave myself enough room for it, and I don't want to do too much, like, planning ahead in this series, because for a tutorial series, it's not especially helpful for me to say, like, we're going to build it this way, but I'm not going to explain any of the mechanics of that, or I'm going to tell you, but I'm not going to show you the mechanics of that right now. Like, if I just leave mysterious gaps in a bunch of my builds, it feels weird to me to do that. Right, we should have enough levers here. Now, we don't have any raw stone, but that's fine. For a tutorial series, leaving room for things you won't mention for another 20 episodes or however isn't good. Yeah, that's my thinking, really. And I think, for the most part, people who know about that stuff already are the only people who are going to be affected, and they're going to wonder why I'm not building in, like, shulker stuff. And they're people who already know about shulker boxes, so it's okay for them. Just trying to fill in some gaps here for the sake of neatness more than anything else. Maybe we should fill this part in as well. There we go. We'll get a bit more stone. I've got enough from just carving out this part of the hillside. There we go. We can neaten that up a little bit later, but for now it's just going to be as it is. Speaking of shulkers, do I think I'll eventually make a shulker farm and have that impact how I use shulker boxes past that? Probably. Like, the fact that we can now duplicate shulkers is of interest to me. Mostly what I want to do with it, because I have a general policy now of trying to figure out farms like that for myself instead of copying somebody else's design, is just work with the mechanics a little bit more in my own time, try and work out some of that stuff, and try and design my own style of farm. It's difficult having seen what Doc M did based on, I think, Ilmango's shulker farm design on Hermitcraft, because, like, I have a picture in my head of what that looks like now, and it'll be kind of difficult not to be influenced by that when I go in with my own plans. But we'll see. Brawny Time, thank you for the 1576. I assume that's something in some other currency, otherwise, cool number. Thanks so much for creating family-friendly content. Love the Survival Guide series. Thank you very much. And Black Steel with the 5 months of Tier 2 as well. Thank you very much. Some very generous people in the chat today. I appreciate you all. I could go more the Etho route. That's the thing. I don't know what Etho did. Because, again, I'm trying to avoid watching too many technical Minecrafters because I end up either consciously or subconsciously stealing their ideas. And if I've done it subconsciously, that's worse because then I can't give them credit. If the shulker thing ultimately stumps me, then I will end up giving credit to somebody. Like, there's definitely some designs, like this item filter circuit, for example, or an Etho hopper clock. Like, I give credit to Impulse for this, I give credit to Etho for that, I'll give credit to, you know, Nembon when I end up making an Enderman farm, because more often than not I'll end up using a lot of the mechanics that he outlines in the episode where he invented the Ender Mini. The same goes for Ghast farms. Like, I'm probably going to build Nembon's Ghast farm at some point, because it's just too good. And those are the cases in the series in which I'll attribute it to somebody else, but I would really prefer not to do that, because I think it's easier for me to explain something that I've invented myself, because I will understand the mechanics well enough by that stage. Used upside-down barrels in the floor of your storage room. The bit that opens points down. It gives a cool paneled floor look. Yeah, so the back texture of barrels is very usable. If we can hop up onto the hoppers here. Like, that texture, just like a bordered spruce plank, is really nice. I don't tend to build with blocks like that often, though, because they look good as, like, occasional accents, but they tend to tile too much for my liking. But Impulse and Etho didn't really invent these things, though. I mean, they popularized them, they put out tutorials for them, that's how a lot of people learned them. So, like, yeah, invent is not necessarily the word I would use. Like, popularize, maybe. Yeah, people are always going to come up with things that they are well known for just because they distributed the idea, even if they weren't the originators of it in the grand scheme of things, because we don't know who else has done this, and just, you know, their video, or, you know, the fact they didn't make a video in the first place, or the video they did make ended up fading into obscurity compared with larger creators. Yeah, I may not always end up saying popularize, but I mean popularize when I say invent, because it's Minecraft, there are no original ideas, and everybody has the same ideas at the same time, which is how come everyone ends up blowing up the moon and whatnot. Banana Bob, thank you for the 3 months of Prime. Appreciate that. Now Nembon is in the business of actually inventing those mechanics. It's so exciting that he works for Minecraft now. It's very, very cool. So yeah, as far as the actual design of this room, heaven knows. I'm really not sure what we're going to do. We do need to craft a lot more hoppers, though, so I probably need to start converting more wood into chests. Because we'll need to have hoppers going all the way around this room. Starting with an input chest, either on the left or the right. Like, which side does it make more sense? And we could have two, you know? We could have two input chests, and I think that's what I ended up doing in the last season, right? To save the fact that we could have a hopper line going across the back. Will I put composters on top to avoid lag? I don't think that's going to be a concern. That's mainly something you do on multiplayer servers, because on multiplayer servers, lots of these systems can be loaded at once. On a single-player world that's running on my own hardware, like, I don't really need to do a great deal of lag busting at this stage. Maybe at some point later, but not right now. Nimble works for Mojang. Yes, he does. He's, yeah, working on tech stuff, I guess. Still trying to find a design for my iron farm where there's basically a villager with a trapped zombie in the center for golems to get trapped, but make it so villagers don't. I'm trying to pass that sentence in my head. It's not that you've explained it badly, it's just that I can't make sense of it right now. Will I use water streams or hopper lines for distribution? Probably hopper lines, just because it's, like, more reliable right now. I know it's a lot of hoppers, but there's already a lot of hoppers in the system anyway, so... Input in the entrance, item elevators on either side. You could. But I think just for the sake of simplicity right now, because this is the first episode we're really discussing auto-sorted storage, I think we're going to start by just doing it all with hoppers. What up, G-Deck? Thank you for the 7 months. Time flies when you're having fun. Sure does. Sure does. So we'll have, you know, item input up there. The idea is not to cage the villagers, but they might get into whatever kills the iron golems. Trying something with water as golems sink, but villagers don't. Yeah, that's true. That's true. The first material I obtained is more than a double chest worth of tough. You can thank a large iron vein for that. Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of tough myself that I'm planning on using for a build at some stage, but I'm not sure what the build will be quite yet. Yeah, lots more hoppers needed then. Good thing I have an iron farm, isn't it? And hopefully I have enough wood. Amazing that wood is the bottleneck, but I guess welcome to Minecraft. Where am I going to put the overflow? I think the overflow is going to be in the basement. Like, I want to have a pipe going down here that leads down to a basement level. Because this is on a hillside, right? So it makes sense. If it comes out a little bit further than this, we can also have like a... either like a hatch, excuse me, that leads down to the basement. Or we can just have like a separate, you know, staircase that leads around to going underneath here, and like we can do some fun stuff with that. If you use water streams, you might need to take into account that time-wise misalignment may cause items to miss their sorting slot. Then you'd have to think about either aligning items or letting them circle around. Yeah, that's what I ran into with the sorting system under the museum, which used water streams to move stuff around, and because hoppers can only work so fast and water streams move items really fast, there's a chance for them to miss, and you have to have them go around a second time to get in the right place, or you end up with a bunch of like 1s and 2s of every item in your storage system end up in the overflow chest. So I think hoppers are just a more straightforward way of doing it until players are advanced enough and confident enough that they can work with water-based sorting systems and item alignment and stuff like that, and it's not throwing all of that at them in an episode that's meant to be an introduction to auto-sorted storage. Will I upload daily, or will there be moments when I need more time for a single video? There will be a lot of future projects which I expect will delay my upload schedule. In some cases, I'll be able to split it into multiple videos, but in some cases where I feel like there isn't a tutorial to be found in splitting it into like 5 parts or whatever, then I'll probably end up, yeah, like slowing down my upload schedule at some stage. Like, I'm not going to guarantee make 5 videos a week forever. Like, sooner or later the projects just get too large. I'll do it for as long as I possibly can, because I enjoy my upload schedule right now. It keeps me motivated to make videos on a regular basis. Love that the honey farm is different from last season. Yeah, I'm planning on doing a lot of stuff that feels different from last season. Does this auto storage system work on Bedrock? I assume so, because it doesn't really use any mechanics of Redstone which are unique to Java Edition, to my knowledge. But I don't know if the way some of the blocks get powered could be a problem for that. Like, I'm not 100% certain. Ruby Doopy says it works on Bedrock. I believe you then. I believe you. So here is where we're going to have hopper pipe leading downwards. If you look at it and think, wow, that's a lot of hoppers, this is why we built the iron farm. Okay, that didn't get any unwanted grass in there, so that's fine. Doesn't handle overflow well. It'll freak out. Be careful of chunk borders. Yeah, chunk borders and entities disappearing and all that kind of stuff. Like, there's so many issues with Bedrock right now. It must be pretty frustrating. Hello. Don't want that draining out the system. See, we could very easily put some more sorting modules on the back wall as well. And so that's something we could consider doing in future. Like, you can have a sorting module attached to any of these hoppers, really. Did someone make this tutorial? Is it my original design? I mean, this is just me stringing together a bunch of things that I have learned to do over the years. Like, calling this a design is kind of weird because it's just a bunch of filter circuits in a row. Like, I'm not following a specific schematic to do this. But the individual item sorter circuits are something I learned from Impulse SV, and the, you know, the overall technical knowledge I've amassed over the years is providing the rest. It's not something I would consider a sort of unique design. Everybody builds sorters like this, basically. See a lot of suggestions to reduce, to put composters in the system. How do composters help reduce the lag? So hoppers, the way they work is every, like, game tick, I think, they are looking for items above them. They're always checking for you, like, throwing an item into a hopper, basically, so that the game behaves the way that it does, so that it picks up any items that are thrown around there. And so leaving a lot of hoppers with, like, open tops like this means that it's checking for a bunch of things. Is it picking up an item? Is it pulling an item out? Is it pushing an item somewhere else? And that leads to a lot of lag because the game is processing a lot of redundant information just to figure out whether, like, checking constantly whether all these hoppers are doing something. Putting a container above them, like a composter, because that has a containment of, like, all of the stuff that you're composting, limits the amount that hoppers do that. And if you have a lot of hoppers in a world that don't have containers above them, then putting... It used to be done with furnaces or droppers. There's a few different things like that. It basically limits the amount of stuff that the hopper is doing. Composters work like a cap. More or less, yeah. I'm probably explaining that really badly, and there are more technical folks, like the Wormbo in chat is a very, very knowledgeable player, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's more or less what it does. Like, it's a layman's explanation. Nixcraft with the 200 bits. Thanks very much. Slept in today. No worries. The code has a short circuit condition that says if there's a container above, check that and don't bother checking anything else. Yeah, more or less that, yeah. A composter only has a single possible item slot, and that's extremely quick to check. Yeah, that's the other thing, is why people don't use droppers anymore, is because there are 9 items that it could potentially get out of one, instead of a composter that's just like a chest with one item slot, more or less. It's weird and interesting, but, you know, so is all Minecraft, really. Yeah, furnaces used to be the meta for that, but composters are cheaper to make. I was trying to think of how else you could get furnaces, but I suppose you can only really craft them, right? Like, there isn't a way that you can trade furnaces from a villager or something. You can find them in village houses occasionally, but that's not really going to help, is it? Am I making a museum this survival guide? Probably not. I want to do something a bit different. We will still end up doing something similar to the museum in that we, like, do a big project at some stage that involves collecting a lot of the stuff that's in Minecraft. But I wanted to do this season. Maybe we'll do like almost like a Minecraft university build or something like that. Maybe, I don't know. It might end up looking a lot like the museum, but who knows? An archive. The museum even had one of those. I think it's a pretty simple solution for the bee problem. Go ahead. Because the only thing I can think of doing is removing all of the azalea. Go look into more fuel farms or animal farms? We will. We'll do all of them. Like, the plan is to do everything eventually. So we'll do, like, a kelp farm for dried kelp. We'll do, you know, a wither skeleton farm ostensibly for coal, but also for everything else that wither skeletons drop. I think the bees need one more block of space per slice. They're all blocking each other's pathfinding. Yeah, I mean, I think the problem is also that they're blocking each other's pathfinding to flowers that are outside of the space they're confined in. Like, I've considered, you know, opening things up so there is more space on top of them, but the farm behaves consistently if there aren't more flowers around. And some people, I don't necessarily believe this, but some people did point out that since azaleas and flowering azaleas are new, bees seem to be pathfinding to them more frequently. I don't think that's supposed to be the case, but I would not be surprised if that was the case, in the same way that, like, anytime new enchantments get added to the enchantment table, they're weighted favorably because they're new and Mojang wants players to be able to get them if they've had a long-term world and they've already got other stuff enchanted, but that means that all of the enchantment table gives me is, like, piercing and crossbow enchantments and stuff. Try removing and replacing the existing flowers, see what happens. I might do, yeah. I have to wait for nightfall for that to happen because the bees are all outside of the hives and they'll escape. So we have enough stuff set up in here for now. The main thing, like, we could have an input chest here and use a dropper pipe to get items up there, but I don't really want to do that. The main thing is just going to be setting up an input chest there, which will be a double chest because I have a lot of items. Hup. And then figuring out a way to make this chest relatively accessible. Fill these with all of the correct items. Build an upstairs floor or a basement level or both. Thought only azalea saplings acted as flowers and not the leaves. I'm pretty sure it's the leaves as well, because I've removed the azalea saplings from around the house. The bees still behave the way they do. What is the building style going to be on this? I have no idea. And if anything, it's going to be a style like what I've already built around here, which is, I guess, kind of like rustic cottagey vibes, but that doesn't really necessarily make sense for something that's more or less a warehouse. So I'm not certain. But yeah, this bee is not trying to pathfind towards this flower. The rest of the bees aren't, like, blocked from getting to this flower. This bee is trying to get to something outside here, and it's like this, basically. What would I recommend to be the best way to get a lot of dirt? Just dig for it? Honestly, yeah, just dig for it. There's not really going to be a great deal of other ways you can get hold of large amounts of it. Bee pathfinding is so annoying sometimes. Yeah, I'm really annoyed that we couldn't have azalea leaves in here, because I really like the way they look. Especially next to junglewood. Like, azalea and junglewood has a good vibe. Like, the slightly kind of more pinky nature of junglewood works really well. It's hard to get dirt without destroying your world. Honestly, like, find a part of the world that you're not going to see more frequently. Like, whenever I go out to gather grass blocks or something like that, I just fly out 5,000 blocks or something, bring a bunch of shulker boxes with me, carve up the terrain. There's definitely more invisible places you can get it from, like riverbeds, for example, ocean floors, caves when you find those patches of dirt. You just got to find the right places for them. Cactus farm's working pretty well, by the way. Guilty of digging out my rivers. I mean, in old rivers it made a lot of sense because they didn't look all that natural, so there weren't really any like deeper spots, and digging out riverbeds just made them look more interesting. Rivers in 118 are naturally kind of interesting, which I really love. Mining plains, yeah. Where are we at with any of this? Starting to lose focus a little bit here. We're going to use chunk loaders at some point in the future? Probably. Will you play more technical, like building a perimeter? Again, probably, but you recognize that we're still in the very early stages of this world. Like, it's really strange to think about all of the stuff we've done. I've set up, like, the world's most basic cactus farm. And people are already asking me if I'm going to, like, do a perimeter for, like, a witch farm or something. Like, I don't leap to that stuff when it comes to tutorials. We've got to ease people into projects like that. Like, eventually we'll do something where we have to blast out a large area with flying machines. But, again, it's going to take a while. World Eater Episode 2. What am I, a hardcore player? I need to go get some more golden carrots. So we're going to go to the village real fast. Reset my brain a bit here. The first survival guide had 350 episodes. We have plenty of time. We do. And this season is off to a slightly faster start in terms of upload schedule because I wasn't making 5 episodes a week when I initially started Season 1 of Survival Guides. I only started the 5 episode a week thing like much later. For dirt, you think technically you could make an elaborate farm that involves turning stone from a stone generator into moss, then a large spruce tree to turn it into podzol. Yes, you could also, this is the right? Oh, this is the right way. I've been to the desert a couple of times and I get confused now. Did I drop a blaze rod? Oh no. Did not. Never mind. Will I update to 119? Yes. What was I was responding to something and I got... Yeah, no, the dirt generator thing. You can also, you know, barter gravel from piglins, create a bunch of coarse dirt and use a shovel to turn all of that into dirt path and then dig that up. Like, there's a variety of things you can do. We talked about dirt path in today's episode, actually. Giant spruce trees make pods out of moss. They do, yes. Enjoyed this pace a lot more than killing the Ender Dragon within a week. I have a bit of time to build up my world before. Yeah, it always feels so rushed to be like dragon fight in the first week to me. Like, it's cool if you're on a server and everyone's seen that stuff before and you're just like, let's get to the good bit. But I think you can have a lot of fun in the early game, especially in this update, so I don't want to rush that stuff. Where's the farmer? Fascinating how I still learn after over a decade of hosting an SMP. I know, right? There's always stuff to learn about this game, though. I love early game Minecraft, but Elytras are just so much fun. I find it hard to resist rushing them. Yeah, that's fair. And play how you like. You know, I'm not going to prescribe a way of playing to anybody in particular, but I do think we're all used to going ahead and getting the OP stuff, flying before we can walk. You know. How many stacks of iron blocks do I have currently? The number is constantly changing because I have a very active iron farm, but more than I can use. Which is how come I'm now just trading iron with all of these blacksmiths. All of whom I think are locked up for the day because... unless that did something. Yeah, I think I traded with these folks last time I was here and then left. We're fine though, we've got enough golden carrots for now. Let's speed on home. What other farms would I recommend to have close to the spawn chunks? Anything that involves mobs is usually pretty safe. But things that involve crops are not, because typically crops require the player to be within 128 block radius to grow, because random ticks only occur in that radius around the player. How would I spend diamonds in endgame time? Probably turn them into diamond blocks and use them to build something. Either that, or if I'm on a server, I use them to buy stuff from people, but it's the only real use for diamonds once you have a decent set of mending gear, usually netherite. If you're careful enough, it doesn't get destroyed. And if it happens to be lost for whatever reason, you can trade diamond equipment from villagers. Diamond beacon, yeah, there you go. What's my opinion on doing a slime block flying machine to reach end cities without beating the Ender Dragon? I've done it several times in recent series. Did it in my hardcore series, did it in Empires. It was honey blocks both times, and I died once. Not in the hardcore series, in Empires. That was probably the famous example. I'm not going to do it in this series because I try and play some of this series in a more traditional way. Like, with stuff like the Ender Dragon fight especially, I'm trying to do things the way that feels intended, rather than do it in a way that feels, you know, like we're jumping straight to the workaround, the exploit, that kind of stuff. The Empire's End heist was very fun. Probably the most fun I had on that server. Will I cheese the Wither? Not right away. We're probably still going to fight it underground, because that's just safer in general, but doing like the tunnel method rather than just like immediately under the bedrock portal, because for a start that's a situation that could end up getting patched very quickly, whereas underground at least you're fighting it under your own steam. But fighting the Wither on the surface is just annoyingly dangerous. You have to be a more skilled PvE player than I am. I don't really like fighting the Wither, so What are my thoughts on Minecraft with shaders? I don't tend to play with shaders a great deal myself because they're okay for screenshots and stuff if you want to show off a part of your world, but for a start, it's annoying to have the drop in FPS when you're trying to record something consistently, and like, even though I have a decent GPU, it still happens. Like, there's some areas of your world are built up enough and have enough of a drop in FPS already, looking at you, redstone things, that sometimes, even if you'd get 120 FPS with shaders somewhere else, you wouldn't necessarily get it around the stuff you actually want to look at. I also feel like people rely on them as a crutch to make their builds look pretty, and I think it's kind of more fun to try and build something that looks good even without shaders, but that's my personal opinion. Did Empires intend to keep the dragon alive, or was that something that accidentally found its way into the lore? We didn't have, like, any major plans right away for killing the dragon. We were just like, we'll do that at some point, right? We wanted to do something interesting with it because the dragon fight is just so... Like, you've seen it all before. If everyone is just taking down the dragon, it dies within a matter of seconds. And so we kind of put that off until we had ideas for it, really. No to shaders, what about texture packs? Same thing, really. Like, I like building with the default look of the game because basically anybody watching my videos will be able to build the same thing. Whereas if you're playing on Java, texture packs are more freely distributed as like a community resource. On Bedrock Edition, a lot of the time you have to buy them from the marketplace, or there's some that you can download, but I think ultimately it's down to like each person's own preference, whether they like playing with texture packs or not, but everyone can have this look of Minecraft. Have I ever beaten the Wither in Bedrock? Yes, I have. In the Bedrock Edition Survival Guides mini-series, where I got all of the achievements, you have to fight the Wither for an achievement at some stage. And I did that, and it was awful. I think I died to it once, maybe twice, and then came back with a lot of buckets of milk. The main thing I wasn't prepared for with that Wither fight is not necessarily the way the Wither attacks, it's the fact that health regeneration isn't as fast, so you have to dispel the Wither effect quite quickly, otherwise you end up dying a lot more easily than you do on Java. After I figured that out, it was okay, but you come back with Totems of Undying, you come back with milk buckets, you're okay. And it's not that the Wither effect itself is particularly OP, it's that health regeneration isn't as fast as it is on Java. Because of combat not having changed in 1.9. How do I think the different distribution of diamonds will affect servers like Hermitcraft? Not at all. Like, people will just go mining for diamonds. They'll get them if they get them. Like, people will just go branch mining. DocM will build another, like, tunnel bore, and he'll be farming deep slate from that and getting all kinds of diamonds. Like, I know it's been on everybody's minds since the update, but diamond distribution is, like, one of the least important things about this update to me. What's more valuable, diamond or iron? I mean, iron is used for a lot more stuff. Diamond is inherently valuable because it creates the most important, like, it creates the most durable set of armor, and the second most durable set of armor because netherite is, like, just slightly more durable. But, yeah, like, iron in endgame becomes more important than diamond because you're using the iron to build hopper sorting systems and cauldrons so you can have infinite lava and things like that. Like, it's just got so many more uses. Diamonds have the value you give them. Yeah, exactly. Diamonds are one of the things that you can imprint the idea of currency onto very easily. So I feel like that's what people end up doing with diamonds to make them interesting, is to have a server economy based on them. The idea gets a little tired after a while, but that's one of the things we wanted to do differently on Empires. We were like, we're not going to have a diamond-based economy. We're going to have it be like everybody has specific materials they specialize in and we all trade. Which made sense to me. I'm trying to think how we're going to lay this out to have like an undercroft to this whole thing. A basement level. You know of Empires, but you know the season is ending. It has ended. There are no more episodes left to release. Is it episodic, as in will there eventually be a new season? Yes. Several people put at the end of their episodes, Empires will return. Some people put in season 2. There's going to be a season 2. The Empires have fallen. They have, Mr. Beardstone. They have. Sometimes it's for the best. Hope you're well, buddy. Here's the other thing, is that I've got so many of these materials around here, I don't always want to have them. Like, this is the thing that annoys me the most about having chosen this floor design, which I like and I will not change. But the fact that I now have an oak log here to indicate this is the oak log chest, and it's next to this thing of oak logs. I'm like, if I put dark oak here, is that going to look awful? It might not. We'll see. Yeah, I'm doing alright, Bidstone. I'm doing alright. Hope you had fun with, Clash of the Creators the other day. Who was on your team? I didn't get to look at who everyone's teams were in the end. I just saw who I was with and was like, yeah, I can manage this. This can be fine. The Empires Strikes Back. Yes, we could do that. Too busy winning. I wasn't going to say it, but we had a good team. We had a very good team. Haven't done a lot with stripped dark oak yet this series. Yeah, I was considering it. There's a bit of it around somewhere. Yeah, there's a bit in the fishing shack. I've taken to calling it like the fisherman's cottage, the beekeeper's cottage and stuff, because if I say shack, everyone's like, excuse me, that's a mansion, how dare you? But I think this in larger quantities is nice. Is this an auto-sorting storage thing? It sure is. For all of the materials you see here in the ground, and eventually mycelium once I have some for that back corner. We need to start actually putting items in some of these filters. I suppose you lot did okay. We did alright. Why do I want that much mycelium? We're probably going to eventually end up terraforming a mushroom island. So it's not that I necessarily want that much mycelium, it's that eventually we will just get that much mycelium. Although we can do that with moss spread now, so it might be a little easier. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Eventually I might want to do something cool with mycelium. We might do like a custom biome build and it will have mycelium as a feature. I was starting to do that around the swamp builds in Survival Guide 1, where the terrain was becoming kind of corrupted looking with mycelium and dead coral, and it looked kind of like the corruption from Terraria, which I quite liked as a thematic element. Do I like building with redstone or just building without redstone? Kind of both. Like, I'm much more of an all-rounder now than I used to be about redstone. Have I ever found a swamp in this world? I have, yeah. We have the location of a couple of witch huts now as well. I did a couple of streams where we explored for a while. I found a swamp on the way to one of the, I think it was the ocean monuments, to one of the landmarks that we found more recently. And that one didn't have a witch hut at the time, but the other swamps that we found when we were just, like, exploring the world did. Let's move all this tough as well. There's so much of this. Yeah, interested to see what becomes of this storage area. We'll probably still keep a lot of stuff in here, but I think this room up here is going to be the big one. And sorry I'm running back and forth so much right now, but it's not really something I have an alternative for yet. We will eventually make this area a lot more organized. We'll have, like, a path that leads up here, you know? But I don't want to do all of that stuff between clips in this episode. So for right now, it's going to feel a little disorganized, but we'll get there. Will the dragon fight be next week? My plan is to have that happen around, like, episode 50, probably. It seems like such an arbitrary number, and I was joking in the last stream that I want to put it around episode, like, 53 or something, just so nobody can... Like, so everyone gets really annoyed at me for not choosing a nice round number to do a significant thing in the series on. But, I don't know, I feel that way about it as well. I feel like, yeah, it's significant enough that we should have it on a nice, memorable episode number. Do it. We'll still end up doing more stuff after the dragon fight, though, because, you know, we'll do the dragon fight for one thing, and then the next episode will be about raiding end cities, getting shulkers, getting elytra, all that jazz. Should put a pressure plate at my front door. What, this one? It's too big. Have 7 pressure plates across the center. This week on a very special episode of it's the TV special. Perfect place for a large piston door. Yeah, we'll do a 7x7 door. Episode 40, whatever it is. 44, 45. Man, it already feels so nice having some of this have its own dedicated chest, because I was worried about the amount of tough that we had. I have a tough overstock chest from how much we dug out of that huge iron vein. It's all down there in the basement. Would the community freak out if the dragon was still alive episode 100? I feel like I've had people asking me when I'm going to fight the dragon since I passed the episode where I did it in the last season. There have been so many people in the comments being like, last season you fought the dragon on episode 25, why is it taking you so long? It's like, because there's twice as much stuff to do. There's so much stuff to do. We could, in theory... test out the storage system a little bit. Once we've got the filters in that lead up to tough. So I'll see what I still need to do here, and then we can just throw all of the tough from the overstock chest into that other chest. Of course, there's going to be so many people being like, you should have done this with shulker boxes. Why haven't you got shulker boxes to do this? Sometimes it's okay to just run between things. I could do this even faster if I brought the mule and the donkey over. Could have like a relay race. How far out do I plan specific episodes versus a general timeline / plan for the series? Honestly, right now, I don't know what I'm doing for episode 46. Like, tomorrow's episode is this. Next week, I don't know. We'll figure it out. I don't tend to plan stuff very far ahead right now. I have an overall list of, like, here are a ton of episode ideas because there's just so many things to cover in this game. Some of which I've already done. I haven't checked the list for a while because, like, at this stage in the game, I can log in, I load up Minecraft, and stuff just occurs to me to do because it's the process of setting up a world in the first place, right? Like, we're in that mode already. So we need stone brick for that one. And a site for this one. So yeah, stone brick there. And a site there. Diorite, granite, tough. Okay, cool. So in theory now, we can throw all of this in here. And it will go along the line one by one. And none of it will make it further than this. Good. I remembered how this mechanic works. There shall be no tuff in chests other than this one. It's a lot of tuff. It is. I have a lot more. I have a lot more. Do I visit the survival guide world for old memories? No. Not at all. I visit it to occasionally work more on the museum when I have time, but I rarely have time. Like, I'm not a nostalgic person. Typically. Axing in with the 11 months. Thank you so much. Next month we're going to have cake and tea. Cake and fine wine. Thank you so much for the 11 months. Shadow Star, thank you for gifting a sub earlier as well. Appreciate that. The tragedy of the flying machine and empires. Oh, yes. I'm still working on the museum. Here and there, yes. Mostly I just want stuff to go around the outside of it at this point, and building on that sort of scale is a challenge for me. Like, I like building little stuff in this game, and I keep finding big stuff to build instead. I like building little stuff, says man who once built entire mountain. More is 11. So we want basalt to go in this one. We want blackstone to go in this one. Yeah, now we can start to sort out some of these. Clay, terracotta. Okay, cool. So let's pillar up here so we know where we're starting. This one here is cobbled deep slate, so next to that is basalt. Next to basalt is blackstone. Netherrack, and this is renamed Netherrack, so it doesn't count. Amethyst. Smooth basalt? Oh no, calcite. Wouldn't want to mix those up. Smooth basalt, there we go. And then clay, and then terracotta. Thoughts on chest plates once you have elytra? Don't need them. Can fly away from anything that would hurt you. 360. Whip said Season 2 would be played like a D&D campaign. I'm curious about how that's going to shake out. What are we working on today? A storage room for automatically sorted storage. Which is why there's so many hoppers up there. You can't see the chests from this distance because they don't render. Being tile entities or whatever it is that chests are, which makes it look really funny from a distance, which is why I'm going to put blocks around it, because this weird skeleton of hoppers shall not stand. Finally, I can empty all of the tuff out of this chest. My sorting system working Bedrock as well. Apparently, it's a little bit less consistent than it is in Java, but the circuitry should be the same, yes. I'm happy that we only have a single A single large chest, let's put it that way. We only have a double chest's worth of tough to put into the system, because tough is one of those blocks that I feel like I would back this up very quickly. Get a lot of tough just ending up in the overflow chest. There isn't a whole lot of redstone that works 100% in Bedrock. The thing is, a lot of redstone stuff works as intended in Bedrock, but it doesn't do anything more than that. And the more than that is what the Java community ends up relying on quite heavily. Java players are used to working with all of the quirks of redstone that make it, like, phenomenally useful in some cases. But, like, a comparator still works like a comparator in Bedrock Edition. You know, I've mentioned this before, how do I stay motivated with Minecraft? Really just by making a series like this, because my mission statement with this series is to do everything in Minecraft. And so if I have anything holding me back from doing something new in Minecraft, it's my own, like, laziness. What are the plans for the basement after this new storage? Probably just keep using it the way I have been. If I want to put stuff in there temporarily, it can go in there. Honestly, I didn't end up using the storage system in my starter house on the original Survival Guide world once I had built something like this. So I would not be surprised if I just end up using this a lot more, and the basement can just stay as it is. Maybe we store some of the old equipment and whatnot down there. You know, it just falls out of use. I'll probably still go down there to craft stuff. We've got a stone cutter down there and everything. Yeah, we put a baby zombie down there, and it's the cursed child. Biggest issue with Bedrock for you is disappearing entities. Yeah, that's a huge problem for people right now. That is a really unfortunate issue with Bedrock right now. So we're missing mycelium, which is the difficult part, because that's going to mean we don't get to do anything with this for a while. We'll probably put something temporary in here, like glass, for example. And that can almost act as, like, a clear space. We can put some clear glass in there so that the filter system actually works. And then when we acquire mycelium, we'll just replace that filter slice. In the meantime, it could be a good way to store glass, because I have a lot of that. How did I rename the blocks of netherrack? A full stack of it in an anvil. Same way you rename, you know, your swords, bows, pickaxes, all of that stuff. It's just that those are unstackable items, whereas in an anvil, you can just throw a whole stack of items in there. Is the hopper chain better than water loop for auto storage? It depends. They both have their advantages and disadvantages. The main thing with hoppers is that they're much more consistent, whereas water streams, sometimes the items can move faster than the hoppers can pick them up. It's rare, but it happens. And if you're storing a lot of stuff, then it becomes very inconvenient. What's the Y level for iron veins? Huge iron veins, they occur anywhere below 0. If you're looking for the ones that are mixed in with tough blocks and have just like tons of iron and raw iron blocks and everything. Oh look, we got pillagers. What a surprise! Yeah, I'll put glass in here for now, but not worry about moving too much of it around. Crossbow charges up. Yeah, good luck. Just gonna run away from that interaction. What level did I mine for diamonds? All of them. I mined every level. I have all the diamonds in this world now. No more diamonds. Gravel I didn't bring with me, but I think I have some in the barrel back at wherever that is. Dirt can go in there. Moss is already in this one. Grass is already in that one. Cool. When you saw Pillager Patrol for the first time, you thought one of them had a silly big face. I love that. I love that. That's what I'm going to call Pillager Captains from now on. Silly big face. Do I like caving or strip mining more? Definitely caving. I don't know if it's the better way of getting diamonds, but it's the more fun way of getting diamonds. Because digging up deep slate just takes so long. Alright, let's go back and look for gravel, because I'm sure we have some around here. No 360 this time. You can't do those all the time, otherwise they stop being special. Where's your captain now? I'm the captain now. Did not expect to see auto storage this early in the series. Yeah, it's one of those things that I feel like could have waited until later, because yes, we have shulker boxes at that point. We have some fun stuff that we can do with it. Alright, but it just made sense because I was running out of space in my basement for all of the stuff we've been doing lately. It's a basement, not a spacement, guys. When will I build a mob warm? When one looks cold, I guess. I know you meant mob farm. I'm sorry. The spelling mistake was just too good to resist. I'll build a mob farm when we have elytra. Sorry, that was just very funny. Yeah, no, we're gonna build a multi-platform spawner in the sky mob farm at some stage, and then everyone's gonna tell me it's inefficient and I should build it lower in the world. So that's why I'm not in any hurry, because people always just moan about efficiency, and I'm like, shut up. So that one's dark oak. That one's jungle, spruce, birch, oak. Beautiful. I think we have all of them now. That one's now glass. Yeah, okay, cool. I'm going to put the glass in here for now, but mainly as a reminder that this one is containing something. It's just empty until we say otherwise. Can't help but notice all the people complaining about the efficiency aren't making tutorial series on YouTube. No, because they just follow everyone else's tutorials, which are more efficient. But the idea that efficiency has to be the only way you can do something is the thing that bugs me. Like, let me just explain stuff. And you can go out and do your own research if you want stuff that works better, you know? Like, I'm not going to tell you a method for something that just straight up doesn't work, because I'm not a liar, but I do feel like occasionally people get a little bit too obsessive with concepts like that. And that's why everybody ends up building the same 3 farms. Auto-sorted before Ender Dragon? Yeah, surprisingly, it can be done. It can be done. Honestly, if I could have built an auto-sorter day 1, I would have, because moving everything from the basement to this is probably what's taking the most time. But now we can throw it all in this chest. And as long as I remember what blocks I'm putting in here, it will work. It will work, right?
Well, that's just fine.
If we see the moss number go up. Any minute now. Newman, thank you so much for the 2 months. Where's the moss going, chat? Where's the moss going? It's going somewhere not here. Do I have a hopper facing the wrong way somewhere in this? Or have I just not put one of the filters in right? Coarse dirt. I knew I was saving some somewhere. For a rainy day. Stop it. Bad. Now let's put the moss back in and let's find out if it's working this time. Always test these things. That's the important part. Always test these things. Moss number go up. Eventually. It does take a while for the items to pass around that hopper loop, but eventually. Eventually, the moss number goes up. And thank goodness it does that. Because everything else seems to be in place. We haven't had anything come out of this end yet. So let's try that. Let's quickly do that. Is this tomorrow's episode? Yes, it is tomorrow's episode. I've already been through the mechanics of how the circuits work. Started digging out this area in the episodes. And then we come back and this has happened. Thanks for reminding me you can shear the bottom of vine-like foliage. I knew about it, but forget about it. Yeah, I really wish you could do that with regular vines, but that's not how the plants work. Kelp is the other thing you can do that with, I believe. And weeping vines? Is it those? I think it's those. Do I always record off of stream? Yes. So, I don't end up using clips from my stream in anything that I record unless something momentous happens that needs to be documented. But the rest of the time, if I'm recording a survival guide episode, is not on stream. Why don't I get full netherite? Because I don't want to spend a bunch of time mining for netherite. At least not right now. We're going to do more of that later when I have more access to TNT. But as of right now, it's not super important. Like, I have mending on all of my equipment. The fireproof stuff doesn't matter to me because I don't fall in lava every 5 minutes. I think I'll be okay. I'm not really spending enough time around lava for it to be a concern, at least. I think one of the logs in the floor is going the wrong way. It probably is. Nothing's perfect. The other thing about clearing out this stuff and making a storage system is that I can start clearing up some of the weird chests that I've just left around the place. Because I have a chest up here that's now for all of the dyes. I haven't really started using it yet. Can turn all of this lapis into blue because I might as well. I haven't done an episode about like making banner patterns or anything like that either. I don't know where that's going to fit into the run of the series. But we got the snout banner pattern from the Piglin Bastion the other day. We have access to the globe now as well from... You still here? I think the captain might be the only one who despawned. Let that be an example to you. But yeah, like, we can't really get all of the banner patterns until I have a Wither Skeleton Skull and a Creeper Head, so... Like, it's either going to be a long time until I make an episode about banner pans, or we have to do it without those and cover them when we have access to creeper heads and wither skeleton skulls. Which I haven't even fought enough with the skeletons to get a skull yet. Unless I got very lucky. Yes, you can get creeper heads. You have to have a charged creeper, so a creeper that has been struck by lightning, blow up another creeper. That's the only way to get skeleton heads, creeper heads, and zombie heads in survival Minecraft. Am I planning to be the first man who makes a full netherite beacon twice? I'm certain that somebody else has already done it twice. Like, I don't know about made a YouTube video about it, but somebody out there has definitely made 2 netherite beacons. How many times do I expect to die on this series? At least as many ways as there are to die in Minecraft, because I'm sure we'll make a video about that at some stage. Beyond that, though, I'm not sure. Is this getting recorded? I mean, technically yes, because it's on Twitch, but I'm not making this specific part into a video. I'm not doing like a time-lapse of this or anything either, because I don't have the replay mod stuff set up. Yeah, I think we'll have these kind of L-shaped pillars going down into the ground. These can form the start of the basement. I do want there to be some kind of entrance on the side here, though. Like, I want it to be like we can choose to just go straight to the basement instead of like having to come in through the main door and then go downstairs. And like, I like the idea of if I need precious materials, I just go down one entrance and it's there, kind of thing. Because that's going to be where we end up storing all of the, you know, iron ore and whatnot. What recording software do I use? Right now, I use Morellis Action. But honestly, if you're getting started and you're just looking for recommendations, OBS is really good for both streaming and recording. And is free and, like, just generally a good program to support. OBS has made it possible for people to stream without having to pay for software, which is pretty remarkable, to be honest. Anyway, we need to check on the 8 planks that have ended up in there. Perfect. Good. That means that the overflow is working as intended as well. Not sure why it wouldn't be, but then I thought the moss was going to come in earlier, and look where that got us. Parishioner, thank you for gifting a sub to Flying Pingy. Cold Dawn, thank you for the tier 1 sub. The dude 1469 with 100 bits. Thank you all very much. Red Netherbrick Enchanting Tower thoughts. I have not thought about Red Netherbrick for a long time, and frankly, I am offended that you've reminded me of it. No, I kid. I will probably end up building something with Red Netherbrick. I have no idea what. I think this is the one people thought somebody mentioned earlier, like one of the logs in the floor was facing the wrong direction. This is actually a log indicating that oak logs are stored in this chest. So I hope that makes sense. And the rest of these are planks, so. I guess we'll also need to clear out the end of this room. And add another little section of floor here, because that's not an oak log. Yeah, we'll need to have it go at least a couple of blocks beyond this. I think we'll end up wrapping the hoppers in, like, trapdoors or something to make it look like there's a pipe going around the room. I think that'll look quite cool. But again, that's going to require a lot of trapdoors. What am I going to do about unsorted and loose items? They're going to go into an overflow chest down here, probably in the basement somewhere. We've still got to have places for precious materials like iron, redstone, all of that jazz. One huge challenge would be to make a storage system with a chest for every single item in the world. I started doing that with the museum, and then realized that it was absurd because you'd need so many hoppers, because there are over 1,000 items in the game, as we found out in Clash of the Creators the other day. So I think, yeah, like a 3-wide staircase going down here is probably where we'll go. But then this can kind of loop around to that. Cold Dawn gifting a sub as well, thank you very much. That's an awesome Clash Cool mod pack. It's actually just a data pack. You can put that in vanilla. If we wanted to, we could do some fun stuff with that towards the end of this stream, if you want to see more of it in action, because it's pretty fun. What about stairs and slabs? They're going in the barrels above the material that they would be crafted from. So for example, here I've got a few oak items in here already, because typically what I'll do is I'll pull out some of these, and like I don't craft more than I need, or I'll craft like as many as I think I need, and then there'll be a few left over, but they don't need like individual chests for the stairs and slabs. Like even planks, I think I'll probably have enough storage in a barrel. And you know what? If I need to, I can put another barrel above that. Like, I've got enough headroom in this room. Yeah, like Hearts of the Sea, Nether Stars, that kind of stuff. Like, you really don't need a double chest for every single item in the game. There's definitely people who do that challenge, right? I'm pretty sure Rendog ended up doing that in season, I want to say season 5 of Hermitcrafts. It's when him and Iskall were building the plastic island. It was always a fun idea. How do I organize my time between recording, editing, and posting the videos? Badly. Typically, I'll record in the morning, edit in the afternoon, post in the evening, and it goes up the day after. That's pretty much how it works. You need 41 nether stars to make the sorter actually do anything. I mean, for those, we could just end up like making it its own slice of module independent of any from the other sides. And technically speaking, you don't need to have 41 items in there, it's just for overflow protection. But if you're only collecting a certain amount of each item, then you can guarantee that you're not going to get overflow, but that's obviously something that you need to remember. I think the underneath of this could look very different to how organized the storage room is above, though. Like, if we wanted to have the basement have more of, like, a treasure cave kind of vibe, if we're going to have more of the miscellaneous items down there, you know? Is this a survival guide? Yeah, the same world. That's the starter house. There's the iron farm, so on and so forth. I think this is the lowest I want to go. The other thing right here is we don't have, you know, a beacon to clear this area out particularly fast, so this basement area is going to have to expand a little bit, either on streams or just like when I'm recording stuff between episodes, because I'm not going to have time to finish an entire basement level for this today, you know. But we could do it a couple of different ways. We could do a treasure cave kind of thing. We could do like a series of shelves kind of similar to what they have in Woodland Mansions, but with actual items in. I'm still like weirdly sore about the fact that Woodland Mansions don't have any items in the loot chests, in those like those rooms that have the double chests on the shelves, right? Right, going to be right back. Just going to run to the bathroom and refresh my water, so bear with me. Back in a few minutes' time. We're back, aren't we? And it's gotten dark outside in the process. Everyone's fighting over the background colours again. Love to see it. Alright, let's hop back in here and do a little bit more digging. This is obviously going to mean we have adequate supplies to fill up some of the chests up here, so that's good. I think maybe we'll have precious resources off to one side, and then we'll have some more, like, organized shelves over here. I think that'd be a good way to do it. We'll do both. What are we doing this stream? Today we're working on a storage room. This is going to be in tomorrow's episode of the Survival Guide series on YouTube. We've got auto-sorted storage for 32 different types of blocks now. And down here in the basement, we're going to be digging out an area that's going to have all of the more specialized items, stuff that we don't have room for up there. Love that we don't have an elytra yet. I'm kind of enjoying taking things a little bit slower, personally. And it's nice to have a reason to use some of the transport options which we ignore in late game because elytra is just so powerful. Like, it's been fun, like, saddling up a horse and, you know, taking my mule on a roundabout in the country. Like, it makes a lot of sense. Wood variants such as planks and stairs go together with the logs upstairs. Yes, so the barrels on top of each of the sets of chests here are for the extra stuff that has been crafted out of the individual materials. So, like, if we get a bunch of andesite walls, we can put them in this barrel. We can put another barrel on top of those if we end up needing more space for some of the stuff that we've crafted. But I've already got oak stairs and planks and stripped oak and stuff in there. It just helps keep things a little bit more together. Such a smart way to do it. That is why I make a tutorial series, is so that people call me smart, I guess. Yeah, thanks. I've played this game for long enough now that I have my own preferred way of doing stuff like this, and hopefully it works out for everybody else too. So I'm going to probably put a couple of barrels, rows of chests, and things like that down here. We will need to farm a little bit more wood, so I might just go and chop some trees real quick. And then these ore blocks and things, I'll put in here for now, but they'll go down in our little loot cave section a bit later. Because honestly, like, there's different ways we could organize a lot of it. I think the redstone stuff is going to make sense to go on shelves. I mean, like, double chests in kind of shelf formations around here. Yeah, I just need some utility wood right now, so we'll go and chop these spruce trees down. These have been here since, I think, probably the first Chopping Tuesday we did in this world, because I've not needed wood since. But now, we've finally got to the point where we're building, like, storage systems that require both double chests and hoppers, which everyone always forgets. Also a pretty significant investment of wood. So now we actually need to do Chopping Tuesdays again. Wish there were 2x2 oak trees. I mean, you can just grow a bunch of oak trees side by side. That's the thing. For any tree that there isn't like an official 2x2 variant, you can just grow your own, as it were. But what you end up with is a fairly kind of squat tree. Unless you end up with one of those oak trees that grows really tall. Like the 1x1, much easier to chop from the top down. I tend to find the 2x2 trees are the ones that I just go to for bulk wood, but I find azalea ends up being where I go to for oak now. It's just much more predictable. Happy Cat, thank you for the 1,000 bits. Thanks so much for the content. It's thoughtful, easy to follow, and good-humoured. I try. We get a bit sassy on this channel occasionally, but I don't try to live my life that way. Acacia is a pain to gather, it sure is. Fact, you may know the only 1x1 dark oak tree is found in mansions. Yes, those darn illagers hoarding the secret of how to make a one-wide dark oak. But yeah, we had one of those in the Woodland Mansion I raided in the most recent episode where we did that. Do I like to use birch? I like stripped birch a lot. And birch planks aren't too bad. I find it has quite a nice place in gradient builds, and I used it for the roof trim here, but regular birch logs I don't tend to get much use out of because it's hard to make them look like anything other than a log from a tree. But I think there's other things we can do with them. Stripped birch has always been one of my favorite stripped logs. I think, if anything, spruce is probably my least favorite of all of those. One of the things I want to challenge myself to do in this series is to find more uses for acacia. Because I've used it in the past, but I've not really spent much time with it lately. So that's something I'll probably end up doing at some stage later. Would love if Minecraft made birch dyeable. It does seem like the kind of wood that makes the most sense to stain because it's the lightest, right? Birch logs equal Dalmatian dog build. I don't know if I still have the image. I think I'll try and find it if it's in the old Decidedly Vanilla Discord because I'm still a part of that. But there is a picture I made ages ago. Yeah, here it is. I'll offer this with no context. Only to say that that is one of the folks from Decidedly Vanilla. His name is Clandlewood. It's his player head on a beautiful zebra. That is all. I'm going to remove that from my Streamlabs now. There we go. Magnum opus, I know, right? Ideal Toy, thank you for the tier 1 sub after that monstrosity. I appreciate it. Enjoy your emotes and your sub badge. Welcome to the Pixels. Sir, please, a gram of context. I think we were just messing around. Like, I think somebody may have compared birch logs to the stripes of a zebra, and I did that. Nice to air out the old favorites from time to time. When will I start building in every biome? I'm doing it now. If we're building in every biome, then we start by building in one biome. Now, I think the first project we're actually going to take on in this world is going to be a dripstone cave. I love lush caves, but I haven't found the right one yet. And I found a perfect dripstone cave, which I've talked about in previous streams. We've been there a couple of times. It's the one that's near the Savannah village. Alright, decent amount of spruce wood. Let's collect a few saplings while we're here, just so we don't let those run out. Not that I'm ever really out of spruce saplings. They're shoved in chests and various storage drawers and things. I think it's perfect to spam everywhere on Anarchy servers. I mean, if you can get hold of the player heads, yeah. Looks like a human cow, basically. Clandlewood is a lovely bloke. Haven't seen him for a while, but I hope he's well. It's Just generally hilarious is what it is. Give it a minute. How do I think I'll incorporate that into the series? Later on in Survival Guide 1, it got into much more of like a... It's less about what to do in survival and more like what you can do in survival. It's much less about the day-to-day stuff of playing the game and more about like what is possible. And so I want to explore a bit more building through stuff like that. And honestly, later in the series, we'll have a lot more time to build stuff on streams too, because the episodes may be less concerned with like little projects like this, and much more about doing stuff in the context of larger builds that we might end up attempting on stream. We'll see. But once we get to the stage where we have Elytra and we're doing a bit more exploring of the world, I'm sure we'll stumble upon some really interesting stuff. The fun thing is, now that caves are much more important than they used to be, in terms of finding biomes, in terms of resources and everything else, there's going to be some stuff that you won't find by Elytra unless it's a large enough cave for you to, like, fly down into. In which case, I want to go to there. Thank you. It's gonna be fun either way, I think. Let's get a bunch of barrels. There we go. If we bring any villagers to this place, it's going to be awful, because they will all want to become fishermen. Imagine living in a cave for a series. People have done it. I mean, they used to be in the old customizable world options. There used to be a preset called Caves of Chaos, which people end up using quite frequently for challenges and stuff, because you had mob spawns from the beginning. There was no way of opening it up to the sun. It had like terrain all the way up to 256. It was basically like the Nether sort of attempt at terrain generation, but done in the overworld. Just gonna reconfigure this slightly here, because I want there to be like a gap here, wooden pillar, barrel, probably barrels like this, and then chests. We'll have to make the ceiling out of slabs so we can open the top chests. But I think we should have enough headroom for that, so that's fine. Hey, Proceratops. Welcome in, hope you're well. They won't become fishermen because the barrels aren't at foot height. Never stopped them before. Ironically, I think the hardest difficulty in Minecraft is peaceful mode. It sure is. I mean, it depends on what you consider difficult, but yeah. Yeah, no, I know. There's a lot of different ways around the fisherman thing. I was mainly doing it as a joke, just about how many barrels I was crafting, but, you know. In fact, we could do something like this. Like, I don't know exactly what I want to put in here, and I think this is where the weakness lies with this method, but I do kind of like the idea of having like a pattern to the chests like this. Something kind of a bit more symmetrical, you know? What's my other favorite game to play? Right now I'm playing the new Pokemon game. That's pretty fun. Couldn't live with myself with one stone block floating there. I don't know if it's my favorite game to play, but it's pretty good. What else have I played recently? I love JRPGs in general. Like, I haven't played a huge amount outside of the more mainstream ones, like Pokemon, Final Fantasy and stuff, but I do love a good RPG. And in terms of other stuff, like, I've sunk the most hours into Stardew Valley. Terraria's alright. I've played that a couple of times. Let me think. What else? There's a few others. A few others here and there. How am I doing with the new Pokemon? I'm about 5 hours in. I haven't quite reached the point where I've completed, like, the first... So, very minor spoilers, but there are basically, like... You've seen, like, the alpha Pokemon in the trailers. There are basically, like, boss Pokemon of certain regions, and basically the first sort of major quest you get is to go and investigate this one that's, like, running rampant after it's been struck by lightning in mysterious circumstances. I haven't got to the point where I've actually gone and seen that yet, but I've been doing, like, side quests for people and stuff. But I'm enjoying it. I think it's a very fun take on the Pokemon formula. I think it's... It's both... I said this on Twitter the other night. It is simultaneously a very good game and a glorious self-own. Because I think what it's doing is simultaneously trying to be a Pokemon game and also a rip-off of, pastiche of, or genuine attempt to emulate Breath of the Wild. Like, down to the point where there are some very obvious, like there are even direct references to stuff that happens in Breath of the Wild. And the thing about Pokemon, and the thing about Zelda as a format, is that it's an open world sandbox. Like, anywhere you go, your character is doing the things. Like, aside from maybe when you're riding a horse, where you have, like, you're controlling the horse instead of controlling Link, but Link is the one doing everything. So you go somewhere and you fight something, Link is the one doing the fighting. He's picking up the swords, he's interacting with the scenery, he's doing all of the climbing and whatnot. This Pokemon game has the Pokemon do the stuff for you, because your character is working to train the Pokemon. That's kind of the point. But that basically removes the agency from your character of interacting with anything, and so they can't put anything more interactable in the same way that every corner you turn in Breath of the Wild, there is something to do. Like, there's a thing you can climb, there's, like, the shrines where you can solve various puzzles and stuff like that. You can't do that in the Pokemon game because the Pokemon would have to do that. Because your character on their own can't accomplish stuff like that, because the whole point is that you need the Pokemon to do it. And so everything just becomes about catching and doing stuff with Pokemon. And that's the self-own part of it to me, is like, you've tried to make this big open world game, and it's great that it is an open world because it feels realistic to run around catching Pokemon in a big park. But you've come to a big park where the only thing you can do is catch Pokemon, whereas in Zelda it's like, oh cool, I can go climb that tree, I can go and see what's there. There are lots of little, like, Easter eggs and stuff to find that's almost entirely optional. But like, what they've done with this is say, like, hey, here's the Pokemon equivalent of Breath of the Wild, and all you do is catch Pokemon. But it's a very fun, like, the gameplay loop of it is very fun. How many Pokemon does the game have? Like, 250 or so, like, roughly. Yeah, GMM Mystic says 242 in total. Yeah, basically, your standard Pokédex plus a little extra. It's obviously not like, you know, what's the word? It's not the global Pokédex. It's not like there's a national dex kind of thing. But it's, you know, the way in which you catch the Pokemon and the completion of the Pokédex being something that feels like a massive research project instead of you just going and, like, checking another box. Like, once you've caught this one Pokemon, you know everything you possibly need to know about it as far as the Pokédex is concerned. That's been traded in for you are basically a researcher investigating all of these Pokemon because they're new and unique creatures to a lot of the people who have arrived in this region. Like, they've migrated, I think, from Kanto, some of them. And Pokemon have existed, obviously, for a long time, but people are only just starting to do stuff with them in this era. Why does this have so much... This sounds like it has lyrics to me, Pretzel. What are you doing? I'm not against lyrics in general, but I am against lyrics in an instrumental playlist, so... Dare say it's your favorite to date? Yeah, I mean, it's a good game. I just think it's kind of funny that it's, like, it's so blatant about attempting to be Breath of the Wild. And I wouldn't want to make the comparison if the game itself didn't make the comparison, you know? Is Pretzel a human or a bot? Oh, it's a desktop app. But yeah, like, the game itself is inviting comparisons to Breath of the Wild. Like, one of the first quests you do, you go and get a mushroom for a guy, and he teaches you how to make a Pokemon lure by basically baking a cake with mushrooms. Fool's Mellow High, thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. Very generous of you. Thank you very much. Folks in the chat, make sure you thank these generous sub-gifters. But yeah, like, when you complete this quest, when you pick up the mushroom and you return to this guy and he's like, sure, let me quickly whip up a batch of these cake lures, it, like, fades to black and there's, like, something that's clearly like a parody almost of the cooking tune that it plays whenever Link cooks stuff in Breath of the Wild. It does, like, the tick 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 kind of, like, jaunty xylophone thing, and it goes ping, and yeah, it's they did the same thing with, like, I think with the curry cooking minigame in Sword and Shield as well. So it's not like a huge departure for Pokemon to have done that, but it did really feel like an oblique reference to Breath of the Wild to me. Black Steel, thank you for gifting 5 subs as well. Super kind of you, thank you very much. Oh, I missed the water there, never mind. Every time I walk over here, I hear an Enderman. I'm like, where are you, buddy? What are you doing? Better not be moving my blocks around. Today you found out that Parasect is a zombie fungus piloting a bug. Yes, it's like the mushroom of Pokemon. I say that knowing full well that Parasect came first. Parasect was in the original Pokemon games, the first ones I played. So we can have like a little lantern in here or something. I don't know, we could do some fun little details here. I don't know why I'm building with spruce wood now instead of dark oak logs, but I kind of wonder if stripped dark oak is going to look better here. That's why I brought these over. I like that better. I do like that. Whoa, excuse me. I do like that better instantly. You're the only one to actually pronounce my username right, so thank you. I mean, it's Mellow High, the record from Minecraft, right? I mean, you've shot yourself in the foot by putting the word smell in your name. But I admire the effort nonetheless. Unova is your favorite generation of all time? Which one's that? I don't really know the other Pokemon games very well. I played Red and Blue, I played Sword and Shield, and now I'm playing Legends Arceus, but I've not really dabbled with the other Pokemon games as much. See, the question is now, do we have this go around a corner like that? Or do we put the barrels... No, we don't put the barrels there, because then you wouldn't see this log. That makes sense. And I think maybe we put just, like, a couple of chests at the end here. And then I want this to feel like... Not claustrophobic, but at least a little bit more of a close quarters area. So that we have this mirrored on the opposite side. Maybe the ends of these could be a bit more interesting. We could have, like, shelves. Could kind of do something like this, you know? And put the occasional barrel up here. Maybe a chest on top of that one. That kind of thing. There's other containers we can use as well, right, you know? Love how the design is halfway between Survival Guide Season 1 and the Hardcore Hobbit Hole. That's kind of the thing. Like, I'm pulling in influences from the other stuff that I have built. And kind of thinking, yeah, we can do a bit more, more interesting approach to storage here. We could put bookshelves in there even, you know? Let's go interesting. Why underground? Mainly because from the loop of hoppers that's going around this storage system, I want any overflow of items to come down to basically a chest or a series of chests at ground level here, and then I can sort them into the manually sorted storage down here. But building it underground beneath this leaves us open to the possibility of automating some of it later if we want to completely rework everything. It feels flexible. And it also means we gather more resources by digging this area out so that I can fill the storage system up here with more blocks instantly. I find that it's interesting in Minecraft the way we have the option of either building subtractively or building additively. So we end up digging out an area, like carving out terrain, and that creates a room because we're making it out of a solid object versus building the room on the surface, you know? It's just an interesting aspect of the game that we don't get to consider in other aspects of our lives. Cut and fill. Yeah, exactly. This is a Boolean operation for folks who are into that. Bookshelves we have, I think, over at the enchanting setup. Let me go grab some. Oh, is the Critical Role show really cursey? I know the show themselves, like they don't hold back on the adult language. I didn't really watch any of their first campaign. I only watched a little bit of the second one, so I know the tone of Critical Role, and it seems fun enough if you're an adult, but very adult, yes, just like the streams. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, it's D&D. There are several ways games of D&D can go, but I know the stereotypes. They absolutely advertised it as an adult cartoon. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I have more chests in here as well. Fools back with another 5 gifted subs. Oh my goodness. Is there a sub bomb war has kicked off in chat? Hey, I know some of the people who got gifted those subs as well. Thank you very much for another 5 gifted. I'm looking around the wrong set of chests here. They're in here. There we go. I love having feather falling now. I'm so happy I have feather falling. Yeah, folks in the chat who've been gifted a sub, enjoy your sub badges, your emotes. Next 30 days of ad-free viewing here on the channel. And once again, make sure you thank these very generous folks for gifting you those subs. Do something like that. That looks nice. I like that. Kind of good vibes. We could even put like a bookshelf there if we wanted to. Like we can dress up these little alcoves in interesting ways. Maybe put some shelves up here, you know, flower pots on them, that kind of stuff. Could be a fun little asymmetric setup over here. And yeah, we are going to raise the ceiling just by half a block. Or make the ceiling out of slabs, but it depends where we want to put lighting and things. This is also, bravely, an even-numbered build. So we'll see how that goes. Hello? There we go. I'm leaving this open because I want to hang like a lantern in here or something. Just have like a little lighting alcove. And then we'll have this go around the corner. This is the point at which I don't know if I want to do this double chest thing, because that means we, in theory, need to leave a bit of space for the opposite side. Although, if it's going to have pillars on it like this, then that might work. We'll see. We'll find out. We might even... This is like the former bookstore employee in me coming back to the idea of having like little end shelves here. The end caps. For all the bestsellers. Love the slab shelves. Probably use trapdoors. Yeah, trapdoors are good. You get fewer for the crafting recipe, but the results are fun. I think for a build this size, it's about scale and stuff as well, right? Could put an armor stand on that one in the corner, though. Have something actually resting on a shelf at a half slab. A half block height. Have I played mod packs like RLcraft or Sky Factory? Yes, I played Sky Factory for a while, and RLcraft I never really saw the appeal. It just seemed like a mod pack where the overall like brutality of it was the selling point, and I don't really care that much for packs that just want to kill you over and over again. Like, I'm not here to play Dark Souls. But Sky Factory was fun. I never really got far enough into the progression of it to see endgame, but we had some fun with it here on stream for a while. Don't know if I've been asked this yet. Will I be rejoining Empires for Season 2? I don't know yet. I haven't decided. And I don't know when Empires Season 2 is going to start, and I don't know for certain if it's going to be at a point where I'm interested in picking it up again, because there is potential for Season 2 to have a different pace than Season 1 did, which appeals to me because I felt Season 1 just ended up being rushed, and it's not anyone's fault, it's just the way we ended up with 1.17 being a short-term stopgap before the full Caves and Cliffs update features were available to us. But now there's the potential for it to go through future updates, and the terrain isn't all going to change and that kind of stuff, so there is potential for it to last a little bit longer. Which means people can take their time, you know? Yeah, we can potentially do it this way then. I like this. It's got good vibes. Yeah, the thing about a cave empire is that I think everyone's going to want to do that. I think everyone's going to want to have an underground empire. It's going to be a lot harder to have dibs on a specific biome than it was before if everyone decides that they want to build underground. My problem really is that I just want to do it all in this series. It feels like more permanent here, you know? Will I be explaining textures and data packs? Yeah, I expect we'll do an episode about those eventually. Speaking of data packs, I'm probably going to wrap up here in a second just because, you know, we could in theory build this area forever, but I do want to end the stream at some point. And I want to not have done so much stuff in between clips here that I lose the opportunity to talk about some of it. So we'll finish up here in a second, but I do want to briefly, for folks who might be interested, show you the randomized loot data pack that we used for Clash of the Creators, or a effectively like an equivalent of one, because it's super fun, and I might want to do a stream using it in future, just because it's like a fun way of approaching a world. Like, it's a fun little challenge. Need to work out lighting here, but it might be lanterns from the ceiling, judging by the vibe of this place thus far. And we'll put proper blocks behind some of these, don't worry. I'm just going to knock through a couple of chests, and we'll put wood, we'll put terracotta behind there. We just need to farm a bit more materials. No bingo today. No, we're probably not going to do bingo for a little bit, because I have got a ridiculous PB now, and I don't really see that improving. Let's throw all of this in here for now. And the spruce logs and the dark oak logs as well. Oh, it feels good. Feels good to have an auto sorter for this. Absurd amount of hoppers, though. Right, let's save and quit. We will save and quit. And I need to probably download this thing again. But in the process of doing that, I can show you what this is. So, if we take a look at, if I full screen that, take a look at this. This is fazguy.net/Minecraft_randomizer. And what this gives you is effectively a data pack that you can generate with a specific seed. You can specify that yourself in the same way that you specify a Minecraft seed. It doesn't have to be your Minecraft seed. A drop down here that lets you choose versions from 1.13 onwards. And you can randomize blocks, entities, chests, special drops, so stuff that you get from fishing, etc. You can even randomize crafting recipes, which I'm going to switch off for the sake of this being at all playable. So this is by a username Fazguy, who based it on the original Seth Bling Loot Tables data pack. You hit randomize. It gives you a zip file to download, which I'm going to save. And then from there, we find that zip file on disk, which I will do once I have closed this browser. Wait for a 118.1 port for bingo. I think it's going to be a while. It's only in 116.5 right now. It's not even moved to 117 yet for the other items, but I don't know if that was something they wanted to wait for. Where did that go? There we go. Random loot 164. Cool. So what we need to do is go into this world. We'll create new world. We'll go to data packs, and we'll open our pack folder. And then we'll drag in the random loot data pack, doing that in a browser window. Or, you know, Windows Explorer, File Explorer, whatever it's called now. And then we can throw this into our brand new world. And you wouldn't want to install this on a world that you plan to keep unless you plan to play this for a while. We'll allow cheats just for fun, but we'll start in survival, and we'll call this Randomizer Worlds. We'll do normal difficulty, I guess, and let's go. So this is going to randomize what every block, mob, chest, and action effectively gets you. So we can break this block of dirt. It's going to drop end stone. Great. that's hilarious. We can break dark oak leaves. They don't drop anything, and it's common for stuff to not drop anything because there are some things in the game which don't appear as a full block. Like, oh, that is brick stairs from dark oak wood. Good to know. So there's going to be some things where you end up with like the bottom half of a door or something like that, or the top half of a door that doesn't technically count as a full block. You can't obtain it as an item entity, therefore it doesn't drop. But if we break grass, it turns into a spruce pressure plate, which we can break. That turns into a green candle, which we can break. That turns into clay. What does clay give us? Nether brick slab. Okay, we can't break that without the tools, so let's try gravel. That gave us a crimson button, which we can break to get a red sandstone slab. Do you see the way we're doing this now? It's pretty hilarious. So birch leaves give us warped fences. I'm basically, first of all, I'm looking for something that's going to give us, like, wood. That's birch leaves. What about birch wood? What does this give us? Birch logs give us nothing, I think. Okay. Okay, fair enough. Let's move on to oak. Oak finally gives us wood. Okay, so we can at least make a crafting table out of crimson planks that drop from oak leaves. That's wonderful. I can't make a boat out of these, but I can make some sticks, so that will at least get us a wooden pickaxe. One of them seems to have broken over here. Oh, wow, okay. So the mushroom blocks have the loot table of a skeleton, because that just gave me bones and arrows. Yeah, I broke the pressure plates earlier. They gave me something else that I couldn't break after that. So I'll just put them down here for now. So we can at least craft, using normal crafting recipes, something like a wooden pickaxe. If we break the stone now, that's going to give us smooth red sandstone slabs. But at least some of this is now stuff that we can break. So the end stone isn't going to break into anything. Although that might be a pickaxe thing. I'm not certain what you need to break end stone. Is that... that is the loot table of a drowned ruin, because it just gave me some coal. It just gave me some coal and a treasure map. So that's interesting. That's what I got from this. Yeah, that was like the smooth red sandstone slab. Amazing. Okay, so that's giving us golden apples. It gave us wheat that we can turn into bread. Oh, this rules. Break the mushroom stem. Yeah, that's a different block. We can do that in a second. So at least we have that now. And we know we can get wood from oak leaves. Yes, so we have a golden apple as well. Let's break a couple of these other slabs to see if they give us anything worthwhile, because this is all... Okay, the nether brick slab is nothing. That is basalt. Okay, what does basalt give us? Okay, crimson fence gate, which we can break. Okay, that gave us a warped fungus and a flower pot. Well, warped fungus we can at least place and then break again, and that turns into nothing. Flower pots give us lime concrete, which gave us a polished blackstone button, which gives us yellow wool. You go down a rabbit hole with items like that. Finally, we get some spruce wood. Okay, well, we'll turn that into planks. In theory, if we place the planks, they'll break into something different as well. Which in this case was 4 snowballs. Okay, we can turn those into a snow block. We can break that. That gave us nothing. Fair enough. Although we didn't break it with a shovel, so technically it would have given us nothing anyway. Let's at least make some torches, because if we break some torches, they can lead to very cool stuff. Okay, that's a shipwreck loot chest. Okay, we got some suspicious stew out of that. A lot more wheat. That's useful. That is the... Yeah, that is the food loot chest from shipwrecks, though. So we can farm torches for food and a little bit of gunpowder, some moss. A little bit of enchanted armor as well. I think I just... Oh, that was... I thought that had Curse of Binding, but it actually has Curse of Vanishing. Okay, Aqua Affinity will do. Let's see if we can get one more of those. Oh, we got some carrots. Nice, nice. You love to see it. And we have so much more coal now. Oh, my goodness. All right, Suspicious Stew. What do we get? I cannot tell what that was. Jump boost. Okay, cool. So we're now a little bit lighter. What mod is this again? This is a data pack by Fazguy. You can get it from fazguy.net/Minecraft_randomizer. It's very fun. The green candles that we messed with earlier will drop clay. Oh, yes. And then clay, I think, didn't lead anywhere, right? Clay was a dead end. Oh, that led to the nether brick slabs. Okay, okay. But yeah, this is the stuff that we didn't get to see with the Plagiatus data pack that we used for Clash of the Creators, because they were randomized by category instead of by, like, everything. So you didn't end up with a situation where breaking a torch would get you, like, shipwreck loot. But you did end up with a couple of really interesting, like... gameplay things as a result. So we break this banner. That gives us crimson sign. We break a crimson sign. What does that give us? Emeralds. Wonderful. So that was moss. Moss to banner. Banner to crimson sign. Crimson sign to emerald. We could try moss carpet. How do we make that again? Like carpet. Okay, there we go. Okay, moss carpet gets us nothing. Oh, no, it gets us leather. So what do you think that is? Is that just cow? Is that just the... I mean, it can't be the cow loot table because it's not dropping... What would just drop leather? Like, it can't be hoglins or cows. What would... Oh, a horse. You're right. Of course it's a horse. Of course, of course. Incredible. Okay, so we now have full leather armor. that's something. The fun thing is, if we break this crafting table, that's also going to turn into something else. In this case, it turned into nothing, which could just mean that we weren't breaking it with the right tools, but we'll see about that later. Let's at least get some more wood from one of these. We could, in theory, craft a hoe for this to go a little bit faster, but only a little bit faster with a wooden hoe. So there's a couple of different ways this can go. We can break the mushroom stem, as we mentioned before. That gets us, ooh, red concrete. And we also have brown concrete that we can try out. But a lot of these are just going to end up dropping, like, other blocks that turn into other things, and sometimes they just lead to a dead end. This is spruce stairs. I don't have, like, an axe or anything, really, to chop these any faster with. That's a zombie head. The zombie head could be a loot box, for all I know. It's a bell! Oh, wonderful. That felt like I shouldn't have been able to break that. But a pumpkin is going to be something different. That's a diorite slab. Just grinding for something that's at all useful here. The jackpot is when you end up with something that gives you, like, end city loot chest. Because then you end up with a bunch of, like, diamond equipment. Alright, nothing there. What about... Oh, we can't break copper with a regular pickaxe. Or a wooden pickaxe, at least. So obviously, like, stuff like kelp is going to have a unique drop as well. That gives us light grey wool. I thought that was stone for a second. I got very excited. But then the dolphins are going to drop something different. Like, hitting a cod is going to drop something different. The seagrass was a big win in Clash of the Creators because that dropped blue orchids, which ended up dropping full diamond blocks. That drops chainmail armor. Which I think, because I didn't get 2 chainmail armor, that might actually be like a mob drop thing, maybe? Or is it just... That's just bits of chainmail armor. Okay. Well, that's an upgrade for our leather armor, at least. Yeah, there's andesite here as well that we can break. Oh, that's a good one. That must be shipwreck loot. Yes. Yes, that's the loot at the front of a shipwreck chest. Oh, we're in business. Oh, and there's diamonds in that one as well. Amazing. Okay, so we can farm diamonds from this. Yeah, it's got bottles of enchanting in here as well. Oh, incredible. Grand. Let's make another crafting table real quick. We have diamonds now. So let's grab those. We can probably make a diamond pickaxe, just because that's going to be the most useful, and then we can break a bunch more of this andesite. But yeah, no, this is hilarious. I love this so much. We can throw out all of the wheat and junk. We have so many more emeralds now, and I can just throw the chainmail and the armor and stuff out, because we'll end up with a bunch of diamonds after this. We could make iron if we wanted to. But I think if we just break a bunch of these, eventually we'll end up with enough diamonds that we can make some decent armor. Yeah, we can make iron blocks, try breaking those. There's just going to be so many item entities lying around after this. Yikes, okay. So we'll make some of the iron into iron blocks. We can make some of the lapis into lapis blocks as well. Just resource block all of this, actually. Hello? It's causing weird issues with crafting. Let's turn all of these into ingots. Using this crafting recipe, please. Make blocks of emeralds. Blocks of gold as well. Yeah, we've got enough for diamond boots at least. And it's getting late, but we should be able to grab a bed if I grab the planks from this. So we can at least sleep, but then breaking our bed is going to cause that to turn into something else, so we need to be a little bit careful about that. Where do we get the wool from? Was that kelp? It was kelp, right? Yeah, there we go. So we at least have some more wool. How much longer am I going to stream? We're nearly done here. I just wanted to show this off because it's really fun. Let's throw a light grey bed down. Sleep. Not break it into copper stairs this time. And again, you get advancements in such a random order. We got iron, diamonds, diamond armor, and then a bed. Which, in theory, could happen if you raided a shipwreck on the first night of your survival world, but that'd be a strange set of priorities. Yeah, diamonds in shipwreck loot are rare, but they're not so rare as to not show up occasionally. Now I've got more iron than we ever know what to do with. Really just looking for the diamonds. So I can have a diamond axe. Imagine just looting the shoreline for diamonds out of blocks like this. Land of riches. We can get a lot more XP as well. Alright, we'll make a diamond hoe so that we can get more leaves sheared for a little bit more wood. Let's throw out some of the useless stuff from this. Most of the things that are going to be useless will just be like item entities that you can't turn back into blocks somehow. Like the carpet we could do something with. Because that turns into a copper block, I guess. Which makes nether brick walls. Those make end rods, which don't turn into anything. The emerald block also doesn't turn into anything. The blocks don't drop themselves, which always makes it more of a challenge. Yeah, those don't get anything. Lapis block doesn't get anything. Okay, so none of the resource blocks are really worth it. And grey wool gives us melons, which in theory we could turn into other stuff as well. This was how we got emeralds, right? But we don't need to worry about that because we now have them from andesite. Yeah, just look at the mess we made. That was our shipwreck loot chest again. Yeah, there we go. The goal is to not lose your mind. Yes. I do wonder, like, if you had the perseverance, how long it would take you to beat Minecraft this way. Probably not that long, because you could get geared up very fast. We already did brown concrete, right? Yeah, we went through this whole loop. So yeah, shipwreck loot, pretty OP. Let's make the rest of this out of iron, so that we at least have some more advancements. I feel like there's a couple of fun like game modes you could do with this. You could just do like an any percent kind of try and get as far as you can. You could do a like an all advancements category or something. You could do a lot with this. Let's see what we can see. Dark oak forest spawn's always fun. Oh yeah, that gave us the red concrete. There's some brown mushroom back here. This Enderman is holding a grass block, and he will probably drop that along with whatever other bizarre stuff he is currently harboring. Oh yeah, that was... So both the mushroom blocks are like horse, basically. What is sugarcane? Sugarcane is smooth sandstone slabs, which drop flowers. What do the flowers drop? Dirt! We've achieved dirt! How wonderful. Literally one of the first blocks we could have got if this was anything like normal. I think I already tried sand. What do azalea leaves drop? I'm just so excited by all the things. I don't really have a way of attacking stuff very effectively either, but... The squid is literally phasing into a block to escape me. Azalea. Does Dripwoods have different drops? I'm certain they do. Oh, pink candles. That's actually really nice for Azalea. Look at this. Alright, they don't drop anything, though. Fair enough. That's kind of sweet, though. And the flowering azalea leaves don't drop anything. Oh, there is rooted dirt underneath here. You're right. Well, there will be. I can't really dig very effectively right now. Rooted dirt drops chorus fruit. Interesting. Let's see where this takes us. Okay. Half an inch to the left. Cool. Thanks. We already did clay, didn't we? Cows drop cobblestone. Incredible. So a cow farm is basically a cobblestone generator now. Oh, ruined nether portal. Oh, no, drowned ruin, sorry. Let's see what the drowned drop. Cod! How appropriate. Also, with the loot tables of chests being randomized in with all of the drops from blocks, chests usually just contain one incredibly random item, and that's always delightful. Cracked stone bricks drops us some lapis. Magma blocks drops a stone cutter. That's fun. Let's have 2 stone cutters. What does cobblestone drop? Brown wool, okay. Oh, and brown wool drops like... That's tall grass. It's a Savannah Village chest. Know those chests anywhere. We've got... Yeah, the stone cutter will break down into something else. Which is carpet. The carpet will break down into a flower pot holding a dandelion. The dandelion is a block of netherite. Incredible. Okay, right, we're in business. Imagine if that was a possibility. Netherite beacon, anyone? Let's go find a plains. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Oh, that's another Dark Oak Stair. Of course, it's another shipwreck. Another drowned ruin chest. I don't actually see any dandelions, which makes sense because they're clearly rare. You can't even craft netherite out of... Like, you can't craft netherite into tools. So I'd have to do a little bit more digging up of andesite if I wanted to get enough diamonds to meaningfully do something with those. I don't know why I even looked for the chest. 3rd time. Shame on me. Whatever the saying is. And this is... Oh, and there's a buried treasure chest over here. But this, once again, will contain, like, absolute nonsense. Because it's going to be randomized along with everything else. So where's our 9-9 coordinates? It's right here. Okay, so the sand is once again dropping warped buttons. This is going to have a pink candle. How bizarre. They ended up with the same loot drops as azalea leaves. Obsidian would drop the smithing table? Imagine. Yeah, I need to make a boat. I don't really have anything good to do that with right now. What do you think the turtle drops? A note block. Of course. The note block drops pumpkin seeds. Okay. Well, we've seen a pumpkin already, so we can't really do much with those. Another pumpkin over here, even. How does Silk Touch work in this pack? Good question. Very entertaining to find out. Okay, that's a birch sapling from coal ore. Yeah. Birch sapling and a flower pot. That drops rotten flesh. So probably zombie loot table. Which means you could get occasional iron ingots and carrots and stuff from those. And this is a survival island seed almost. Sandstone? Witch. Sandstone is a witch. It weighs the same as a duck. Again, I don't want to get too curious about what the Guardians drop. Burn the sandstone. So yeah, this is hilarious. And that's probably all we're going to do today. But can you imagine this plus Noinance's bingo data pack? I don't know if they'd even be compatible, but if they did, if they were, like, I kind of want to do that. Make a glowstone? We could make a glowstone. Oh, that's another drowned ruin. Let's fish real quick. That's another drowned ruin loot chest. Let's see what we get from fishing. A spruce button. Incredible. Folks, I think that's where we're going to leave it for today. I hope you've had fun. This is just bizarre. Once again, I will link the data pack for that in chat right now. If you're interested in playing that for yourself. fazguy.net/Minecraft_randomizer. Check it out. It's hilarious. And that is sort of what we ended up doing with Clash of the Creators, although slightly different. Is it always a spruce button, or was that junk? It could be a variety of things. So you'd get various bits and pieces from it. That was super fun. Yeah, I always enjoyed just tinkering with stuff like that. We might end up using that as an example in Survival Guide for like how bizarre data packs can get. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Excuse me, I'm like burping now, which probably means I need to go and eat something. Folks, I'm going to drop you off with somebody else who is streaming here on Twitch. We're going to be keeping it in the Minecraft category as usual, but my partner is streaming in the other room. So if you're interested in a bit of a different kind of chill vibes stream, adult language potentially, but a good time, they are currently transcribing the entirety of Lord of the Rings by hand using cool fountain pens and stuff. If that sounds like your jam, twitch.tv/celerymin. Celery the vegetable and then M-I-N on the end. We're going to raid the Frog Queen today, I think, because it's been a while since we raided Amy. They're a fantastic content creator on Legacy. Looks like they just started, actually, which is cool. And you guys will have a great time over on Amy's channel. Don't forget to use your pixel hype emotes and the hashtag PixelRaid to show some love. I'll be back maybe for a little bit on Sunday, but we're also streaming D&D over on the 8-Bit Community channel on Sunday, so if I do stream, it'll be a shorter one. If not, I'll see you next Tuesday for presumably another Chopping Tuesday, because I'll need a lot more wood after this project is over. Folks, my name's been Pixarus. Have a good weekend if I don't see you sooner, and take care of yourselves. Bye for now.